What's up, guys? It's the Vigorous Q&A yet again. Sorry for being a little bit late. I had to copy paste all of the questions which are posted on Patreon and the YouTube membership section. A quick announcement. We are now at 100,000 subscribers. Freaking insane. And I already got verified. Let me show you in the meantime, because verification usually takes forever, but somehow, some way, I was able to get verified in as little as 20 minutes. So I applied for it, and now you see this check mark right next to my... Is it going to focus? Probably not. Damn it. It's like Inception, right? You see me holding the Increlex bottle, but it's not focusing. Okay, so I guess there's no focus. Well, you can see the check mark next to my name, and me holding the Increlex bottle or the box. And yes, yours truly has now 100,000 subscribers and is verified on YouTube. Now I have to get the same thing done on Instagram. So if you don't follow me there yet, a link is down below. All right, guys. Today I recorded the Optimized Entrepreneurial Nootropics Deep Dive Part 2, covering all of the neurotransmitters. That was a huge, yeah, quite an undertaking. I probably bit off more than I figured I would have. So I was like, you know what, let's optimize the neurotransmitters so the nootropics are going to work better. And then I started doing my research, and it turned into several weeks of research. So I had to compress that. The video will probably be like 45 minutes in duration with chapters and timestamps and that kind of stuff. So don't worry, it will be very coherent. And then we're going to continue with the entrepreneurial deep dives, because now that it's all in my brain, I would rather get that out of the way first before I start working on the membership section. Recorded a couple other videos today. Did a Muscle Nomads with Aaron. Tomorrow I'll record a podcast with two people who will drop next week. So just stay tuned for it. And then we're slowly going to work through all of the content and do a little bit of a monk mode, because the membership section, I already wrote a rough draft for phase 1. Man, that's going to be a giant freaking undertaking. So if I don't respond on social media, or I seem a little bit, MIA, that's because I'm doing research trying to get this membership section off the ground. All right. I see we have no viewers. That's fine. We're still going to answer all of the questions. But if anybody's here, oh, now I can't really check if my audio is working, right? Well, fingers crossed. Everything looks like it's working. So I'm just going to proceed ahead. Let's see. Alvaro JD asks, does growth hormone really slow down the aging process? If it does, how does a true replacement dose of 1 to 2 IUs pair up against larger doses? So I don't think that growth hormone slows down the aging process at all. I think inherently it might speed up the aging process, because growth hormone... it promotes IGF-1 production in the liver and wherever you inject it. If you inject it intramuscularly, albeit that, localized IGF-1 production is marginal compared to systemic IGF-1 coming from the liver, which is stimulated from growth hormone when it goes systemic, ultimately ending up in the liver. So it's been assumed, speculated, or determined that elevated levels of IGF-1 will, of course, cause cell proliferation. And in the act of cell proliferation, the cell division, the DNA has to multiply, divide. So this DNA is literally being torn apart. So now you have two halves of the DNA, and then the DNA, the other halves, right? Whatever the amino acids are, the A, B, G sequences, they're getting filled up left and right. And now you have one split DNA into two DNA strains. In that act, the telomeres, the ends of the DNAs, get shortened. So the telomeres are basically a protective measure at the end of the DNA. And as the cell divides and the DNA splits, these telomeres shorten and shorten and shorten to the point, at one point, right, through additional cell division, these telomeres are no longer present. And then the actual DNA, which contains the instructions for RNA messaging and gene transcription, right? All those instructions get shortened and shortened and shortened as well. And in that process, right, over time, the DNA turns senescent or might turn cancerous. Didn't I just explain this on the Mark Bell podcast? Anyway, so in that process, the DNA gets shorter, and then the cell doesn't function correctly anymore, and it might die, or turn senescent, or turn cancerous. And that whole process is aging. So in the act of taking supraphysiological dosages of growth hormone, you might actually speed up aging, unless you use something like telomerase, enzyme activity upregulators like astragalus root extract or epithalon for that matter. So you have to look into the total picture, right? If you take growth hormone to increase cell division indirectly through IGF-1 increases, then it might be good to once in a while do some epithalon or take astragalus root extract to maybe offset the shortening of telomeres and not excessively age you faster. I think that I think that growth hormone only slows down the aging process from a topical sense, where it fills in the wrinkles, makes your hair grow better, makes your nails grow better, right? Your skin grow better, so you look more youthful. But looking more youthful doesn't mean that you're actually more youthful. And all this raving stuff about the thymus regenerating and thus all of the organs regenerating, I think that's very far-fetched. And again, if the thymus was really regenerating, all of the bodybuilders would have a phenomenally large thymus, because of course we take boatloads of growth hormone. And I did full body ultrasounds, and I can't say that the sonographer mentioned to me like, holy fuck, Steve, your thymus is like this big. What did you do, right? That never happened ever with any bodybuilder all over the planet. So I think that 1 to 2 IUs are good for topical anti-aging to the point you look youthful. 3 IUs might be better if you have a boatload of wrinkles that you need to fill in. But then again, you can do 1 IU or 1 to 2 IUs of growth hormone and take a little bit of Botox, right? If that's the route you're going after. I think if you take like 8 IUs, 12 IUs, then, the face gets a little bit droopy and you lose a little bit of fat from the skin here. And then it starts to turn into this, like a salty dog, and then it gets all nasty looking. So if you want real anti-aging, look into NAD+, nicotinamide mononucleotide, magnesium also helps with enzymatic reactions, vitamin D3, taurine, and acetylcysteine, right? All of this is already very well documented as of recently. Physionic covers most of these topics on his YouTube channel, right? He also has 100,000 subscribers, but he is not verified yet. Physionic, just apply, dude. It takes like 20 minutes, apparently. All right, next one. Call of Duty Dog Styles, assuming that's what the COD stands for. Call of Duty Dog Styles asked, hey, Steve, cruising a TRT on 140 milligrams testosterone enanthate, 60 milligrams Primo enanthate split, let's see, every 3.5 days, so that's twice per week injections. HCG, 250 IUs 3 times a week. How can I raise SHBG? It's currently 8 nanomoles per liter. Total testosterone is 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, and estradiol is 23 picograms per milliliter. Okay, so in your case, I would say that it's probably the best in your best interest, if you want to raise SHBG levels, to remove the Primo. And if you remove the Primo, then your SHBG should slowly come up because your estradiol levels are slowly coming up. So in that sense, you have to take one compound out to have favorable SHBG levels. Now, I'm surprised that your SHBG is this low. Are you taking any growth hormone? Are you taking any insulin? Are you taking any zinc? Are you taking any boron? Right? All of those things can potentially contribute to low SHBG levels. So I would say maybe look into a multitude of different angles. See if your thyroid panel through blood work isn't, terribly crushed, where your T4, T3, and TSH levels are all over the place, right? Thyroid hormones also contribute to sexual binding globulin regulation and production. And then I would say in your blood work, for your total testosterone being at the top of the reference range and your estradiol being at the medium of the reference range, there is some room for improvement there. And you can do this improvement by either taking the Primo out fully, because even at this low, so you basically have a 2-to-1 ratio, right? So even if you take the Primo out, I think your estradiol will come maybe to 35, 40 picograms per milliliter, which is at the top of the reference range. And then after, your SHBG should slowly come up because estradiol is higher and there's less of an androgenic burden in the form of a dihydrotestosterone derivative, namely primobolan. You already split up your dose to twice per week. So I think that's fine. And just keep some Nolvadex on standby, because again, we don't know if your estradiol levels are really going to moon up in this adjustment. Please do your blood work 4 weeks after taking the Primo out. And then hopefully your libido will improve, assuming that it's the libido that is an issue for you currently. Let's see. Jay Hodge asks, let's see, at 200 milligrams testosterone cypionate per week, my SHBG and estradiol are quite low. Adding in 100 milligrams of Primo makes it worse. So you guys should just really talk to each other, right? Call of Duty Dog and J Hodge. This is with HCG. Could I add a low consistent dose of an aromatized compound in like Dianabol, Anadrol? Anadrol doesn't aromatize, or estradiol itself to get my estradiol levels up. I'm trying terkestrone to get SHBG up. So in your case, at 200 milligrams of testosterone per week, with HCG in the picture, and if your estradiol levels are reasonably low, why don't you go to 300 milligrams a test instead of adding in a D-bol, which converts into methyl estradiol? Anadrol allegedly interacts with the estrogen receptor but doesn't raise serum estradiol levels, and terkestrone will have a very narrow scope of an estrogen-like effect, but does increase SHBG levels. So how about you try 250 milligrams a test for 4 weeks, and maybe 300 milligrams a test for 4 weeks? It's HCG can stay exactly the same, and terkestrone, 300 milligrams, from the extract, so 3,000 milligrams, but it's actually 10% extract, so you get 300 milligrams terkestrone. Feel free to combine that with ecdysterone, and man, there's a huge discount sale going on right now at Gorilla Mind and Gorilla Mode, 30% off with code Vigorous for the Black Friday sales, right? I mean, those Black Friday deals, 30% off, don't miss it. Terkestrone and ecdysterone for only 70% of the regular price. So I would keep taking that. The only adjustments you need to make right now is just increasing your test a little bit, laying off the Primo, keeping the HCG the same and the terkestrone the same, and then checking your blood work as you go along. And again, if you take growth hormone or insulin, those are known to lower SHBG levels. And if your thyroid panel is off, just like I mentioned before, that is also known to lower your SHBG levels. So please check your thyroid levels, your fasting insulin levels, and your growth hormone levels, unless you're supplementing with it. Then you can make further adjustments there. Rocco asks, hey, Steve, does DMP cause systemic inflammation? I tried it earlier this year and lost 25 pounds. Holy shit. Well, I mean, DMP clearly works. I'd like to try it again combined with tirzepatide. Well, I mean, there might be some systemic inflammation because it's, of course, ATP synthase uncoupler, and you get a lot of oxidative stress. So, but I can't specifically remember if DMP causes systemic inflammation, and I haven't really seen a lot of blood work as of recent of people who take DNP. So it might be. So if you want to run that experiment again, I would advise against it. I think just running tirzepatide and maybe some traditional fat burners get the job done. But if you want to get shredded in a hurry, maybe tirzepatide and DNP is the way to go. Albeit I'm not an advocate for it. Please check your blood work, see if your high sensitivity C-reactive protein levels are going up, if your homocysteine levels are going up, if your neutrophil to lymphocyte ratio is going up, or skews compared to baseline readings. And unfortunately, you can't really check, antioxidant status or reactive oxygen species through conventional blood work. So make sure you're on top of your N-acetylcysteine, your injectable glutathione, your vitamin C, a boatload of blueberries and strawberries and that kind of stuff for pyruvate, but also for antioxidants. And just make sure you stay on your top of your health, because I do think that DNP is pretty fucking unhealthy. Worse than tirzepatide, that's for sure. All right, Scott Hermans asks, any experience with exertion headaches or tension headaches? I've only had them a few times in my whole life, but when I do, they completely destroy me. Feels like a brain hemorrhage. Recently, I felt one starting up during a heavy leg day, and then later it started after doing the business with the wife. Oh, yeah, okay. So tension headaches, it's very common that occurs during strenuous sets when you're holding your breath. I actually made a video about that. Let me link it down below. Let's see. What was it? Oh, was it headache? Headaches while using oral steroids. Maybe that's the one. Not really sure. It's an older one because I still have hair. Let's see. All right, so let me link it down below so I don't forget. Okay. And then let's see. Pump. I think there should be a video about how to manage skin splitting pumps. I get. I'm searching alive. All right, that's new. There you go. And there's another one. Okay. So these two videos, I'll link them down below. Give those a watch. It's basically about holding your breath and having high blood pressure. And then, of course, when you do strenuous workouts like leg presses or bang the misses, also pretty strenuous, but in a good way, you can get a headache. So look into your electrolyte intake. Look into something like Carditone and over-the-counter supplements, which is known to promote or regulate blood pressure. Look into your magnesium intake specifically, and then if you want to have optimal electrolyte delivery and transport throughout the body into skeletal muscle and bones, particularly regarding calcium, then look into vitamin D3 and vitamin K. Right, I think I mentioned this so many times already. So make sure you exhale properly. I also have a video about this, right? That you have to grunt. Let me link that one down below also. Grunting is anabolic. That was the video, right? Yeah, grunting is highly anabolic. That one is also important for you to watch. So watch these 3 videos that I linked down below. And then I think you can pretty much piece it together. So grunting, all right? Don't hold your breath. Look into your electrolyte intake. Look into Carditone. Look into Cialis. Look into Telmisartan. Look into anything that can modulate your blood pressure positively. And then I don't think you'll ever have tension headaches ever again. All right, next one from Darius Mixoniu. Ask, congrats on 100K. Thank you very much. Question, how do you tell the difference between constipation due to insufficient fiber intake and constipation due to too much fiber? Is it the same? Is all fiber the same, or should we track soluble versus insoluble fiber? Man, I think that's going to be hard to tell. I mean, you would expect, like with insufficient fiber, that your stool would be quite hard and not properly lubricated. I think it would just both be painful. So, if you're not sure, track your fiber intake and try to balance that to about 38, 40 grams per day. And then slowly start adjusting with 10, 20% increments. So if you're currently on 5 grams of insoluble fiber or soluble and insoluble fiber, maybe increase that to, I don't know, 7.5 or 10, right? Slowly increase that up to around 40, and then decide if you want to, increase that any further. And if you're at 80 grams of fiber because you eat a boatload of oatmeal and potatoes and vegetables, then maybe consider lowering that. Maybe replace some of the oatmeal with quinoa or rice or something along those lines, right? And reduce the vegetable intake. So I think it would be hard to tell. I always get about 50, 60 grams of fiber in per day. And my stool is, pretty freaking good. So if you're currently constipated to the max, we have those emergency, what is it called? Coffee colonic kits. You can buy those on Amazon with Prime delivery, so you can get them the next day. Or, but you might want to put something on the tip and get some Vaseline ready. I don't imagine that this has been used. And hydrate from the other end, so you can loosen everything up from the other end, and then evacuate your problematic fiber or lack of fiber that is now problematic, right? So, yeah, good luck, I would say. Darius also asks, why do you think general population want to pretend and choose to believe their favorite athletes are drug-free? The general population likes to believe a lot of things, right? Do you think they'll ever understand that enhanced athletes are really cheating? So technically, it's cheating based on the rules of engagement of the competition, right? They say drugs are not allowed, and we have a World Anti-Doping Agency prohibited list and testing, or United States Anti-Doping Agency prohibited lists and testing, and then there's actually a boatload of these drug tested federations out there. So in the eyes of the federation, athletes might be cheating, but in the eyes of all the other athletes, nobody's cheating because everybody's using performance-enhancing drugs, but some of them are using them more smartly, allowing them to beat the drug test with basically a 10-minute clearance time compared to failing the drug test. So it's an IQ test, I would say that. That's why we have, drug gurus and coaches out there who are very knowledgeable and experienced with beating the drug test. So all these athletes can compete against each other under the premise of being natural. But in reality, they're juiced to the fucking socks. Now, what does general population have to do with this? General population are the sheep who buy all of the sponsors, the sheep who watch the commercials in between athletic events, and thus spend money and money and money. And these sports still need to be subsidized and funded, right? The Olympics, for example, drugs galore, but it's in the eyes of general population, it's clean, it's drug tested, everybody's natty, and then everything, all the commercials that are being played during the Olympics or the NFL or the basketball league or the hockey league or the baseball league, right? A basketball league, all that stuff is there to make money. And the athletes, even though a large majority are making good money, eventually the athletes will suffer because if they fail the drug test, they're out of a contract, out of a career, when in reality, they push the sport forward and allow all of these, this entire money-making device through sponsorships, right, and commercials and brand deals to be in place. Without the athletes, there will be no money-making opportunities from anybody. But the problem is that there's about a lot of athletes. So if a couple drop off, then the sport will survive. Now, I honestly think that the enhanced games is going to make a severe dent into drug-tested sports. I think that Aaron De Souza, who I met 2 weeks ago here in Bangkok, is really onto something. He has my full support because I think the Olympics are fucking corrupt and the World Championships level regarding any bodybuilding federation is fucking corrupt. And I'm sick of the athletes being shafted. So keep your lookouts for the next couple of years. I think there's going to be a boatload of alternatives, sports where you aren't subject to drug testing, but can still get monetary reward through prize money or sponsorship, just like the IFBB. I mean, that's the perfect example, right? The IFBB is thriving. The Mr. Olympia is one of the biggest, shows from sports all over the world, and there's no drug testing, right? I mean, Jay Cutler got rid of that by countersuing the IFBB because they were handling the sample so poorly. Right, there's no drug testing anymore in the IFBB. So it's an open sport. You can take and do whatever you want. The injuries and the hospitalizations are actually quite rare. It happens more in the amateur circuit than at the pro circuit. And I will tell you that at the amateur circuit, when it comes to the world championships, there's more hospitalizations that occur in the NPC or the IFBB combined. And those are much larger federations. So comparatively, the percentages are much lower when it comes to instances of unhealthiness compared to these amateur federations that are government sponsored. Yeah, and those always fuck the athlete in the ass. It's only about the officials using the athletes to get governmental support, which is basically, bribes and extortion when you look at it with an intelligent eye. So, yeah, it's not cheating, but general population is just not intelligent enough to understand the difference. So just let them be, man. Let them be. Jump Rather asks, how would you approach higher dose cycles for somebody following your entrepreneur protocol, where drive and productivity are still a priority alongside mad gains? I mean, the higher your cycle dose will be, the more sleepy you will be, and the more you need stimulants to offset that. But stimulants, generally speaking, cause vasoconstriction, which is not good for gains. So you can only accomplish that much by upregulating your neurotransmitters. Again, the Optimized Endurance Nootropic Deep Dive Stack will drop sometime next week, just purely about neurotransmitters. So no stimulants required, no vasodilation will be in place. I think if you incorporate some of those ideas into your off-season high-dose cycle protocol, I think you can stay reasonably cognitive but not have any vasoconstriction to the point you inhibit gains to a certain extent, but you might still be sleepy, right? So I think at a higher body weight, at a higher training capacity, at a higher drug intake and a higher food intake, productivity just goes down. I feel now that I'm about 92 kilos, 200 pounds, I'm the most productive ever. And I'm sure if I add in a little bit of TRT and I start training harder and eating more, productivity will come down. or I need to compensate with stimulants, right? Which at the time, if I do go on cycle, yes, I can use some modafinil again, and maybe some other actual nootropics, which I don't want to use right now. Just the neurotransmitter upregulators and motivators, or improvers, not motivators. Well, dopamine is dopamine levels increasing is highly motivational, right? So I was correct to a certain extent. Anyway, so the neurotransmitters, upregulating that with over-the-counter supplements is pretty safe when it comes to fertility from all the research that I've done. But modafinil, for example, not so good for fertility. And, fluvoxamine, not so good for fertility, or at least no clear evidence that you should be taking it. And then all the other nootropics like Adderall and Ritalin. And, right, there's about a lot of nootropics you can choose from. The fertility data is not so good. So those are off the menu for me, but I would probably incorporate one or a multitude of them if I were to follow the entrepreneur protocol and at the same time try to make some serious gains. Yeah, I would say make all the gains and all the money. Yeah, all those under membership sites might as well file for bankruptcy. Oh, and I'm done with that shit. All right. Darius asks, best way to approach custom clearance when ordering. No. We're not going to go in there publicly. Sorry, dude. Sorry. No, it's because you're making it very, very easy for the customs to watch this video and then start looking into things. So discuss this with your source. Yeah, sorry. There's also asks if my 2 milliliter glute intramuscular shots leave lumps and bumps but barely go away before the next shot. Does that mean the oil is leaking into the subcu space? Is the penetration angle wrong with a 24 gauge? No, I think you're just not metabolizing the oil in time, and you're probably pinning into scar tissue a multitude of different times. So maybe it's time to start pinning subcutaneously for a while and doing daily micro shots. So if you're doing, let's say, 2 milliliter shots per week, that's 4 milliliters per week in total divided by 7, you can do 0.6 milliliters every single day sub-Q, somewhere that's not close to the upper glutes, maybe upper quads or side quads or wherever else that's not very visible. And then hire a deep tissue massage therapist or buy a lacrosse ball and work through that scar tissue and do the reverse hyperextension with a boatload of weight to the point you feel your spine decompress and all the and separate, right? And all the scar tissue in your upper butt cheeks is just literally separating from all the pressure of putting 2 plates, maybe even 3 plates under reverse hyperextension. I just started doing that again, coming back in Thailand because I had so much fun doing the reverse hyperextension at Elite FTS, Dave Tate's basically private home gym. So those are back on the menu for me. And luckily, since I did a boatload of deep tissue massage therapy over the last couple of years, my scar tissue in the glutes is non-existent because I haven't injected anything intramuscularly really for the last couple of months. And prior to that, I did a whole year of subcutaneous administrations. So in your case, I think scar tissue is just building up. And maybe the product that you're using doesn't really absorb that readily. So why don't you switch products to pharmaceutical grade? Again, I have a whole list on my website. Let me link it down below because people can't use Google for themselves nowadays. But I don't know what's happening with this new update of WordPress. Actually, now it works again. Okay, let's see. C-reactive protein. Sometimes these articles take forever to load. Yeah, it's taking forever to load. Okay. And even though I re-indexed all of the PHPs on WordPress. Nice update, 641 or 643. What is it? Something along those lines. I got to redo my website at one point. Don't all start applying, okay? I'll announce it when I'm ready. Let's see. All right. Here you go. Save. So switch to pharmaceutical grade, a carrier oil that can disperse and absorb and metabolize and within a week or so before the next injection and work through that scar tissue. Baby, please, because that's probably inhibiting the absorption of your injection depot. John Prather asks, do you believe in the idea that injecting growth hormone intramuscular can create localized IGF-1 effect? So the evidence is there, but of course, IGF-1, IGF-2, mechanical growth factors all being stimulated when you train vigorously with resistance training all the way to failure and beyond, perhaps. The evidence is there that it does that. But I did growth hormone administrations for an entire year in my right chest to get that to grow, right? Post-workout, pre-workout, I tried all kinds of different protocols. I documented it in my growth hormone ebook. No effect. Now, that's, of course, anecdotal evidence with an N of 1. So maybe my right chest is just absolutely shit, and it will never grow, no matter how much IGF-1 and growth hormone and injectable pre-workouts from Amino Asylum I inject, right? Maybe it's never going to happen. Maybe just a shit bodybuilder, or maybe my left chest muscle is just a shit part of my physique. But for me, it didn't really do anything. And again, if everybody would use growth hormone for site enhancement, well, if it was really effective, everybody would be doing it, right? Everybody would be doing it. Growth hormone, people would swear by it and do 8 IU shots multiple times per day, but most people can't afford it. So, I mean, feel free to do it and see if you get any more of an anabolic growth potential compared to not doing it, right? I mean, it's free to inject it intramuscularly. And you're not pitting anymore, any more than before, right? 2 IUs is 2 IUs. 4 IUs is 4 IUs. You just put it a little bit deeper. But the problem is with intramuscular injections, of course, you build up scar tissue. And maybe at one point, the separation in your chest muscles is not so good. I mean, don't we all want a nicely, deeply separated chest like Wesley Vissers? I certainly do. I certainly fucking do. So I'd rather not do the intramuscular injections anymore, or minimized, and then get nasty, freaky separation, because I feel that that's more impressive than having a super round, full physique that's loaded to the gills with growth hormone and Superdrol and halo test. Oh, that's not true. Actually, that looks pretty good also. But you know what I mean, right? So feel free to do it, and then report back to us in 2 years and see if your weaker body part magically grew by localized growth hormone administrations. Lucas asks, "You're a fucking fantastic example." All right. "You're a fucking fantastic example of what can be accomplished when people have the courage to create a vision for themselves and make a commitment, not just pursuing it in every possible way, but take joy at it at every opportunity." That's fucking right. You better fucking enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, it gets monotonous. "Congrats on your commitment to your vision for yourself on this milestone. Glad to have gotten to see most of it." Okay, so you've been an early subscriber, Lucas, and I guess you're very happy that I reached 100K. I'm certainly very happy, because reaching 100K was a fucking grind. Yeah, a fucking grind. But I got verified in 20 minutes, so it's all good. All right. Lucas also has a question. Let's see. "Badly shattered the femur bone in the leg in a motorcycle crash in 2010. Okay, that's not too far off from when I broke my leg in 2008. But I broke my tibia and fibula in a motorcycle crash here in Thailand. So he's still not great. Okay, mine pretty much recovered, but the middle plate in my lower leg is, I know, when I went to America, it contracted, and after a while on my feet, it started to hurt pretty badly. Let's see. Lucas attained some area to 90, planning to do 4 milligrams daily for 60 days. The nerve damage I'd like to address is near the point of insertion of the rectus femoris, right? Low on the femoral nerve. Okay. Concerned about potential abscesses from daily 1 milliliter bacteriostatic water injections in my quad. Actually, you don't have to worry about that. You just make sure you practice safe injection practices, right? So you take a shower, you scrub the area so all of the skin cells are gone, right? Maybe trim that area of body hair to keep it super tight and super clean, tight visually, right? I mean, shaven quads do look better than hairy quads, in my opinion. And then you sterilize the area with, a sanitary, sterility pad or some rubbing alcohol, and then you let that dry, evaporate, right? You need to let it evaporate first, and then you do your injection with bacteriostatic water, which contains 0.9% bacterials, what was it, benzoyl alcohol, right? So the potential for an abscess or an infection is very, very unlikely if you just practice safe and sterile injection practices. And then with the area 290 for nerve recovery, of course, you want to inject as close to the nerve as possible, right? So you would have to go with a deep 1.5 inch 25 gauge or a 20 27 or even 29 gauge, which are available. Those are very, very thin, right? It's almost like an acupuncture needle. And of course, if you're doing a water-based injection, it's no big deal. Right now, of course, you think that you know where the nerves are, but you'll probably not get anywhere close, maybe 3 inches close. So again, stay diligent with your approach, or maybe go to a acupuncturist who knows exactly, specialized in nerves within the body. Maybe they can assist you and help you kind of pinpoint on which angles to inject and how to get as close to these nerves that you're trying to recover by the use of ARA 290. Feel free to look into Cerebrolysin as well. I mean, it's got brain-derived neurotrophic factor and other neurotropic peptides. So it's safe to assume that might have a contributing effect to the ARA 290. All right, should I rotate sites? Should I go DPM? Yes. And any other guidance that you can think of would be appreciated. So try to find a specialized acupuncturist and just proclaim your condition and problem. They might have an idea on how to recover the nerves, because again, that's what acupuncturists do, right? They have this little needle and they start digging into the scar tissue and maybe activate some of the nerves as well. Some people say it's quack science. Some people really swear by it. I really like my acupuncturist that I have here in Thailand. He did a boatload of good stuff to my neck and a boatload of good stuff for my shoulder and my quads. So I vouch for it, or at least vouch for him, right? It's TK. I'll link his profile down below. He's very, very knowledgeable when it comes to this kind of stuff. And he was a lifesaver when it comes to some of my injuries. So I would consult with an acupuncturist and just ask them if they can kind of teach you how to do a self-administration of ARA 290 as close to the nerves as possible. All right. Let's see. I think we've answered all of the questions, and I'm surprised that nobody joined. Or maybe it's because we're an hour earlier than before. You guys have time zone changes, but I don't. So... or maybe nobody has questions because it's the end of the year and Christmas is around the corner and everybody's just looking to get fat. All right. Well, that's fine. Let me see if any questions came in. No. Okay. Then I guess we're going to go public. Bathroom break. Be right back. All right. Close this one. Second. Public. All right, guys. I will see you in a bit. All right. What's up, guys? Oh, he wants to know, why don't I get notified for the members one, even though I'm a member and have it enabled? I don't know, man. YouTube is just fucking broken in that sense, I mean, I really don't know. It should send it out, and it should send out the notification, to all the YouTube members that I'm going live. But it's basically the same day every day, so that's why I list the time zone. So Just put some sort of notification on your phone, like Saturday 6 p.m. for example. I will be live. Trust me, unless I mention it otherwise. So I'm sorry for the delay. It's just that YouTube is a little bit broken. But the time is always the same. It's 12 o'clock midnight for the members over here in Thailand. And then, of course, with the link I always post on the YouTube community section, I have that link with all the different time zones for Berlin and London and New York and LA and Australia, and then you can kind of piece it together there. All right, guys, let's get started. Adrian Croak, what's up, dude? Good to see you again. I hope you enjoyed your holiday. Let's see. Postnet Clarity. How's it go with your fertility process so far? No news so far. I will announce something good when we pass the third trimester, but nothing as of now, right? I mean, my wife has a 5% chance of getting pregnant every time we try to conceive. So it might mean that we need a year, and we've been trying for 5 months so far. So stay tuned, guys. You look like a monk. Yeah, I look like Obi-Wan Kenobi and a monk and Krillin from Dragon Ball Z. And I look like a lot of things, but I am none of those things. Let's see. Zane, what do you recommend for lowering blood pressure? Also, I'm extremely excited for your upcoming membership deep dives. Yeah, but give it a couple months, dude, because it will take some time before I've gone through everything. I just finalized the early draft for phase 1, what I need to do, and it's a boatload of work. So please be patient, right? Don't start bugging me. And Steve, when is your wife pregnant? Steve, when is the membership site ready? It will be ready when I announce it. It'll be ready. I might have to go monk mode for a while, right? That's why I'm in the rope. Might have to go monk mode for a while to really immerse myself into all things anabolic androgenic steroids for phase 1, because again, it's a giant freaking undertaking, and the least amount of distractions I have, the better these videos will be, and the faster they will be produced. So if I seem MIA sometimes, I'm working, right, for the community's benefit. What do I recommend for lowering blood pressure? Well, magnesium and calcium intake, obviously, that's good for regulating blood pressure, because magnesium and calcium helps to or dilate the blood vessels. And then after that, there's Cialis and telmisartan and cardatone, which is an over-the-counter supplement containing some extracts which are known to lower blood pressure. Beetroot extract can lower blood pressure. Citrulline malate lowers blood pressure. Adenosine monophosphate lowers blood pressure. All right, so there's a boatload of ways to lower blood pressure, but look into hydration and magnesium and calcium intake. That's kind of like the foundation of blood pressure management. And then, of course, Cialis is good because you get the blood pressure in all organs, especially the one that matters the most, the penis. All right, here we go. Jason Koch, if somebody had 50 pounds to lose, 23 kilos, do you prefer keto or for heavier people? Well, I prefer the diet that's most sustainable. I do like ketogenic diets because it makes you very cognitive. That's why I follow ketogenic diet for the last... And I can't even remember when I started. Was that when I was 17 or 21? I started like over 20 years ago. Well, before I ever touched steroids, that's for sure. And I think I was either in university or just graduated. So that was like maybe like 18 or 19 when I was still in uni. Yeah. Anyway, so I've been doing keto a very long time. I always had good success with ketogenic diets. But of course, at one point, it gets harder and harder and harder. And then you need to, have good refeeds with clean carbs to keep your metabolic rate going. Because without clean refeeds, your glycogen stores are going to be low, and then your metabolism adapts and slows down. And, of course, that kind of impairs the further fat loss. So unless you use tirzepatide, for example, or other fat loss aids, right? Look into a multitude of different options, but I prefer keto. Yeah, it just also means that the rebound is going to be brutal. So if you do go keto, reverse dieting is mandatory. Yeah. Let's see. Levy Collins, congratulations on 100 subs. Thank you. Was wondering if I could trust any oral that shows up in a capsule and not a tablet. Thank you. Well, of course, the underground labs and the gray area peptide sites, they can't afford or can't buy tablet pressers, because I think those are only available for pharmaceutical companies. Now, don't get me wrong, China does ship tablet pressers all over the world in small parts. So you just have to assemble that once all the parts arrive. If you go to the Chinese Shanghai or Beijing, what is it called? Medical Expo, right? Pharmaceutical Expo. They'll have those those stands available there, and then they're like, "Yeah, you want this in America? Yeah, sure. We'll just ship it in parts." You just have to assemble it. When in reality, you shouldn't even own a tablet presser. So that's only for a select few companies. That's why most of the over-the-counter supplements are produced in capsules, because capsule things you can just basically you have these little blocks, and you put half a capsule on one side, and then you dump a container on it. Then you flip it sideways to the point all of the powder comes out, but stays in the capsule. So in between the capsules, kind of slides out, but it stays in the capsules. And you kind of guesstimate that they're all 1 gram or 2 grams or 3 grams, however much the capsule contains, and then you cap it. Right? That's what a lot of these guys do at home. And then, of course, you have capsule machines that makes capsules with the correct amount of milligrams or grams for pharmaceutical dose, right? Or the compounded drug that's within the capsule. So, yeah, if you get Anavar in a capsule, it just means that it's from a source and not pharmaceutical grade. I've never met a pharmaceutical company that produces steroids in tablets or in capsules. Never. But I've gotten DHEA and pregnenolone in capsules. So, but those are considered over-the-counter supplements in America, right? So, preferably tablets, but if you can't get it in tablets, then of course capsules is going to be the next best thing. It's better than nothing, right? Assuming that it's similar quality. Let's see. Batman says hit the like button. Do you really want to mess with Batman? Batman. Vengeance. Right? If you don't press the like button, it's going to be vengeance. All right, next one. Hey, fitness. Steve, I've been having a really bad workout energy wise. I have 4 good sets with a good pump, and then I'm trashed. All hormones are good. Blood work is good. Too much vasoconstrictors, not enough carbs. Maybe you need to eat more. I have a multitude of different solutions. Yeah. So look into that. Almost feels like a low blood sugar crash, and it's not, as I have pre-workout carbs and intra-carbs. Oh, okay. So check your blood glucose levels then. Maybe your intra-workout carbs are so insulin nootropic that you actually have low blood glucose, right? Or maybe your electrolyte balance is just off, dude. I mean, maybe all of these carbs are just messing with your electrolytes because, when you go with intra-workout carbs, you also should supplement with a little bit of electrolytes in the form of sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, slightly, right? Sodium the most. That's why all of these hydration formulas are mostly sodium and then a little bit of magnesium, potassium, and calcium and simple sugars to match. So maybe that's it. Or maybe you're not having good vasodilation for these pre-workout carbs to arrive. Maybe your pre-workout is full with DMAE and caffeine and other shit. And, maybe take that out. Let's see. Zubs. Hey, Steve, been reading and watching your training content. My only question is how long should I rest in between sets and exercises? Also, you're only supposed to do 1 working set per each exercise, right? No, I mean, that's a starting point, right? 1 working set per exercise, but at one point you can do 2 working sets or maybe even 3 working sets. It really depends on how many sets you can recover from. So if all the drugs and the sleep and the food is in place, you can probably do more working sets than not having the drug in place and not having the food in place and not sleeping properly. Obviously, right? So start with 1 working set, maybe do 1 working set and a backup set where you can take the failures. Technically, it's also a working set, albeit at a higher rep range at a lower weight compared to your first working set. And then maybe later on you do another working set in there, right? But it depends on how many exercises you do and your overall working sets for the entirety of your workout. Now, regarding the rest in between sets, let your heart rate decide. Right? Maybe you have one of those oximeters you can just put on your finger, right? They give you a heart rate reading in like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Bring one of those or have one of those watches which can measure your heart rate, right? And as soon as you see that it starts to dip down and you're no longer breathing heavy, do another set. But of course, as the sets are more strenuous and the weight gets more heavy, it will take longer in between sets to recover. But you do the next set when you feel recovered, that you can give maximum energy and maximum effort for the next set that you're taking to failure. That also means that if you're not taking a set to failure, switching exercises. So if one exercise where you did a working set, you take maybe 2 minutes rest, and then a backup set, and you take maybe 30 seconds rest, because the next exercise is a feel set. You're just going to do 6 reps. So all you need to do is walk from that exercise to the next exercise, do a feel set by maybe 6 to 8 reps, because the weight is not heavy anyway. And then you take your 2 minutes rest for your next working set, right? Go by feel and go by your heart rate. All right, let's answer some super chats first. 10 milligrams Anavar pre-workout as a Natty. Would you notice it? Yes, of course, and you're no longer Natty. I mean, come on, dude. You know this. You would even notice 5 milligrams of Anavar. I mean, you produce 7 milligrams of testosterone, give or take, per day. So now you're going super physiological, and you will shut down your natural testosterone production, certainly. Most people will notice androgen deficiency symptoms within 4 to 6 weeks after an oral-only cycle, even though there's some scientific literature that some guys don't have a down-regulatory effect of taking 10 to 20 milligrams Anavar for longer periods of time. So your mileage may vary. Yeah. There should be a $10 super chat somewhere. Where is it? Why doesn't it show up? Oh, here we go. Okay, it's further down. All right. Sorry, guys. Time to start scrolling. Eka Grata Occult. Third question, but here it goes. Since Cerebrolysin is water-based, would taking it rectally give the same bioavailability as taking it intramuscularly? I don't know if there's any enzymes in your butt cheeks that would break down amino acid-based peptides. But of course, boofing anabolic steroids or recreational drugs work, so it's worth worth the boof. I don't know, dude. Do it before bed, right? You take the syringe, right? You draw from the cerebrolysin vial, then again a little bit of petroleum jelly. What is it called? Vaseline at the top after taking the syringe off, and then in the butt it goes, and you just squirt it in there. And then let us know if you have a better sleep quality where you wake up feeling like super refreshed, right? So it might be possible, but you might also get breakdown of the amino acids because it's the end of your intestinal tract, and in your intestinal tract is where amino acid bonds are broken down and absorbed as singular amino acids or tripeptides, or even a longer peptide chains, but probably not to the same exact peptide bonds as cerebrolysin. And keep in mind that the molecular weight of the neurotropic factors in cerebrolysin are significantly higher, from what I can remember, compared to recreational drugs or anabolic androgenic steroids, which are bioavailable when you take them rectally. A very high bioavailable, I would say that, yeah. So I don't know, worth the boof? Let us know next week. Simon the amputee. Well, I hope that's not too severe. Congrats on 100,000 subs, Steve. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. All right, next one. Jesse R. Thanks a lot, Steve, for your great content. All the best to you. Okay, is it like $10 donation day? I can dig it. Keep going. Last couple of Vickers Q&As was like abysmal on Super Chats. I'll tell you that. I look at the statistics and I'm like, ooh. That hurts. Get a lot of $1, $2 super chats. But I can't complain, right? Everything is extra. We're here for the community after all. Jason Koch, let's see. You're into a high protein ketogenic diet, right? Most of these guys are afraid of gluconeogenesis. I was watching older videos, 1 gram per pound or less. No, I would just bring your protein intake as high as you can get away with, dude. I mean, you need protein for muscle function. You need protein for hair growth, skin growth. Basically, everything is dependent on protein. So don't be afraid to bump it up a little bit. If you feel that you're getting out of ketosis after meals, then with certain meals, you need to lower your protein intake. And I would avoid simple protein sources like whey protein, or maybe even collagen protein or other, protein powders, because they're easy to digest, right? The casein protein, hydrolyzed casein protein. It's very easy to digest, and it's this easy to digest protein that's converted into glucose through gluconeogenesis in the liver. So maybe stick with whole foods and add some vegetables and added fat to slow the digestion and limit the rate at which these amino acids are entering the liver and later on the bloodstream. So you reduce the amount of amino acids that are converted into glucose through gluconeogenesis. All right, so eat whole foods and shut the fuck up. All right, that's what I do. I barely have protein shakes, and if I have a protein shake, it's collagen pre-workout when a little bit of gluconeogenesis can take place because I'm training anyway. Right, and a little bit of insulinotropic effect around the workout is good because it opens up the skeletal muscle cells, allowing all these nutrients, these electrolytes, these pump products, these amino acids, and a little bit of glucose to enter the cell and get a phenomenal super pump, right? So not the end of the world. But if you eat steak with vegetables and some fat, or salmon with vegetables and some fat, right, from avocados or nuts or seeds, something like that, and some whole eggs and some vegetables and maybe some chia seeds, right? Some added fiber sources. I think it's totally fine, and you can pump your protein intake up quite high. And whether that's 1 gram per pound or 1.5 grams per pound, start low and build your way up as needed. Hey, Fitness. Thank you, Steve. Really appreciate the knowledge. All right. Much appreciated back, buddy. Congrats on 100K subs. I remember you're briefly going over this, but can you please explain how having too much anti-inflammatories such as curcumin and glutathione can also be negative? I kind of debunked this in the anti-anabolic supplement stack, where I go about vitamin C and NAC and curcumin and everything that you're not supposed to do because they're anti-inflammatories. Right? Around the workout, it might be best not to supplement with vitamin C and curcumin and glutathione, etc., etc., etc. But dude, I think it's just an excuse for being a shit bodybuilder, not training hard and not dieting hard and not taking some performance enhancing drugs, which is for gold and potential inhibitory effect of these healthy and anti-inflammatory over-the-counter supplements. So long story short, if you're a natural, maybe it matters. That's what all of the scientific evidence has been performed on. But if you take even a low dose, like 100 milligrams of testosterone replacement therapy, I think the vitamin C and the curcumin and glutathione are just going to help you be a potential anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. And since since reactive oxygen species production goes up when you train on steroids, I think the overall net benefit regarding the outcome of your health is more beneficial than the potential loss of potential gains. And otherwise, you just go to 125 milligrams of test, so that's 25 milligrams of testosterone more, and you will mitigate and undo all of the negative effect this curcumin and glutathione and vitamin C has on your muscle gain. So again, take your vitamin C and shut the fuck up. I take 6 grams of vitamin C every single day, and I'm still big. Even though I'm small, off cycle, I'm still big. I'm still fucking big, dude. Dude, I'm still wearing an XL shirt and filling it out. And I'm starving myself. Well, not starving, but I don't eat much because I have to stay lean for social media. Gregory Miller, Steve, would you say blasting and cruising is worth it? Yes, and I will redo some of those videos when it comes to these low-level bodybuilding questions. Don't worry, those questions will be answered in depth with upcoming videos. Oh, Jason is like, are you going like all in right now? $5. I had $5 on black. Okay, I won. $5 on zero. Okay, I won. Okay, I feel confident now. $20 on 26 red. All right, here's the answer. Thank you, sir. Too much information out there from people complicating. Yeah. Well, that's, people want to sound smart, but in reality, they're not. So this is what you have to deal with as a somebody in the audience. Great details and congrats on 100,000 subscribers, and hope you felt welcome in the States. You had a great time as usual. I'll save shakes for around workout and refeeds on Sundays. All right. And that's the Sundays with, implicating an ice cream. Sundays with a swirl and a parasol on top. So thanks for your all in 20 on the 26th red. You've won the next prize, which is more content and answers being questions being answered. Jesus Christ, questions being answered by Vigorous Steve. All right. Rico, how's your semen, Steve? Come right over and then open your mouth and let me know how it tastes. Yeah. Yeah, all these semen questions and fertility questions, I mean, it gets old. Let's see. I had all the super chats, so let's start answering some cool shiznit. Now, here we go, Henry. Okay, finally did some research. Sorry it took so long. So on the ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin stack. So ephedrine and caffeine kind of complement each other when it comes to fat loss. But over time, you build up a tolerance to ephedrine. Caffeine is, to be debated. Of course, caffeine blocks the adenosine receptors, and ephedrine stimulates the alpha and beta. I think both alpha 1, 2, and beta 1 and 2 adrenergic receptors. But of course, alpha 1 and beta receptors, or alpha and beta receptors, kind of downregulate over time. And then while caffeine might kind of upregulate that to a certain extent, aspirin is very good at that. It actually upregulates the alpha and beta receptors and downregulates the prostaglandins, which are slowly being released with consecutive ephedrine use. So the whole theory behind this is that if you take ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin together, there's no downregulation, and the effects will be continuous and might even become more pronounced over time. All right, so that's the whole idea behind the ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin stack. I think it's like 15 to 30 milligrams ephedrine, maybe 100 to 250 milligrams caffeine, and 50 to 100 milligrams baby aspirin, basically 81 milligrams baby aspirin, once or twice per day, right? I would start at the low end and then slowly build your way up. And that way, you can expect continuous fat loss. But I do think that liraglutide, dulaglutide, and tirzepatide kind of make an ECA stack obsolete until you're at a point in time where you need, receptor-mediated fat loss because, metabolism took a beating and your muscularity isn't so good anymore. Recovery came down, and then you need to increase recovery by promoting lipolysis from adipose tissue by hammering the alpha and beta receptors and blocking the adenosine receptors and causing further lipolytic effects. And then, making sure that the downregulatory effects of that stack is mitigated by the use of aspirin. So when you're like 8%, 6% body fat, but you can get down there without anything, without anything exciting. All right. What's going on? I'm probably late in the chat. All right, MDL, I'm gonna block you forever, and you're just spamming the fucking shit out of it. Let's see. God, I can't. Iron Grid, where the fuck are you, dude? All right, liposomal, you can fucking shove that up your fucking ass. Hide user from this channel. Bye, dude. Actually, no, I need to block you. There you go. Goodbye. Spam bullshit. Okay. Where are we? Iron Grid, dude, stop fucking around. Ban these fools. I was with my girl. Fuck, man, how much money do I need to pay you to stop messing around with your girl when we're having the Vigorous Q&A, Iron Grid? Jesus Christ. Pussy kills you, man. Now tell me about it. I've been surrounded by pussy since I was 15 years old. Yeah. All right. Congrats. I just realized that I'm literally surrounded by pussy. Because I got 4 female cats and a wife. Even when I sleep, I'm surrounded by pussy. Yeah. What is that saying? Better 1 pussy in the hand than 10 in the sky? How is that? Is that the one? I think Trump said something like that. No, holy shit, we have a federal agent here. All right, I better answer this, otherwise I'm going to go to jail. Any thoughts on oversensitivity to aromatase inhibitors, like taking conservative aromatase inhibitor dose and crashing estrogen as a result of it? I can take 6.25 milligrams aromasin per week and get low estradiol on 500 milligrams a test. Yeah, that happens. I mean, maybe your individual aromatase expression is low, or the excretion of the aromatase enzymes is so good because aromasin, the excretion of the aromatase enzymes is so good because the aromasin binds to the aromatase enzymes and blocks it permanently because it's a suicide inhibitor. So the molecule of aromasin goes into the aromatase enzyme and renders it inactive until it's metabolized through whatever pathway it's metabolized through. And then over time, you have less aromatase enzymes and less potential for conversion of testosterone into estradiol because there's less aromatase enzymes present. So maybe instead of 6.25 milligrams aromasin per week, you take zinc, also known to reduce aromatase enzyme activity, or D-chiroinositol. Now let me write that down. Let me find it. I learned something new this week. Let me see if I can find it on iHerb for you fuckers. D-chiroinositol. D-chiro. This one. Hopefully. Here, this one is on standby. So you don't necessarily have to buy this brand. I'll link it down below. Give me the liberty of adding in my referral link and discount code, bastards. It is on discount, so better fucking buy it. Do some research and buy it, or buy it first and then do some research. Whatever you prefer. All right. D-chiroinositol apparently downregulates aromatase enzymes. Yeah, I learned something new this week. So maybe you look into that. Maybe you don't block the aromatase enzymes, but you just downregulate their effects with D-chiroinositol or myo-inositol to a certain extent. And I think there's combination medication or combination supplements out there. Myo and D-chiroinositol. This one is not on discount. Again, look around on iHerb and use that fucking discount code. Yeah, filthy animals. So I can get a kickback. Yeah, I do all this research and I deliver it to your doorstep. All right, refresh the page. 2 links to D-chiroinositol and myo-inositol plus D-chiroinositol. And apparently they can downregulate aromatase enzyme activity. So I'll do some more research. And if it warrants a video, I'll make a video about it and incorporate that into optimize one's testosterone levels in the near future when we get back to doing a video that again, because, well, every year you have to make a video like that because nobody uses the fucking search function anymore. So might as well make a new video about it with all the new things I learned in the meantime. So in your case, skip the AIs and look at the zinc, D-chiroinositol, and maybe diindolmethane. And I don't want to hear about diindolmethane downregulating the androgen receptors. There's literally 2 studies that show that on prostate cancer, right? Or is your body entirely made out of prostate cancer? I think not. All right. And I took diindolmethane for years, and many of my clients took diindolmethane for years. And they won shows and showed up hard as nails, right? If you want to compare diindolmethane to aldactone, which actually blocks the androgen receptor, yeah, aldactone is going to make a lot more worse and effects. So that's why we limit aldactone to like a couple days before the show if needed, and diindolmethane you just take freely. I don't want to hear about that shit. Oh, diindolmethane and vitamin C and it's going to blunt the anabolic response. You're just a shit bodybuilder. Shut the fuck up. You're just shit bodybuilder. End of story. All right, Jing Quan. Every time I see your name, I have to think about Mortal Kombat. Zhang-Chi. Dun dun dun. Fatality. Okay. Hey, Steve, what's your recommended supplement for a 50-year-old parent to improve their energy, mood, etc.? They still work hard and cannot do anything late in the day. Any tips? Watch the Optimized Entrepreneur Deep Dive Part 2, which is dropping next week. This will upregulate your mood and energy. I fucking guarantee it. Regardless if you're 50 years old or 75 years old or 16 years old, the things you will learn from that stack will be phenomenal. And then add in watching the mitochondrial support stack with nicotinamide mononucleotide, which does wonders for energy levels. And so do, a regular B50 complex formula, right? Morning and evening. So you have a B100 complex, right? B vitamins regulate enzymatic reactions and energy levels and moods quite tremendously, because guess what? Guess what, buddy? Guess what, Mortal Kombat superhero? Vitamin B5, B6, B9, B12 all regulate neurotransmitter synthesis. So if your energy levels or mood is low, it's very likely that your neurotransmitters are low. And because of that, or as a direct cause of that, your B vitamins might be low also. So take your B vitamins and shut the fuck up. Yeah, B100 complex. I mean, guys, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, right? 1:16 for me. Am I not full with energy? Right? It's not cocaine, right? That's illegal here in Thailand. It's not Adderall. That's illegal here in Thailand. I took Gorilla Mind Respawn this morning before I started, recording the optimized entrepreneur nootropic deep dive video. I had to record it for about 2 hours, and I think we'll have about a 45-minute video when it's done. Because I'm on nicotinamide mononucleotide, because I supplement with some neurotransmitter precursors like L-tyrosine, L-tryptophan, right? Glutamine for glutamate, for GABA, etc. Right? All that thing will be explained in the video. I take nicotinamide mononucleotide. I take B vitamins. Everything is fucking upregulated, and I have energy for days. If I was single, I would have enough energy to fuck all of the cheerleaders of the football team. Even without enough testosterone for the entire football team, I would still be able to fuck all the cheerleaders because I'm so full with energy. And that's simply with over-the-counter supplements. Yeah. So watch that Entrepreneur Nootropic Deep Dive stack and start supplementing. You can thank me later. Scrolling. Where are we? Scrolling. Oh, I didn't want to click. I would only go on meds permanently if you need a medical reason for that. I think, didn't I just make a video about that? Jesus Christ, do I have to link it again? All right, here we go. I'll do the search for you. How to get off thyroid medications. Damn it, why is Paul Burnett live? We gotta communicate. Oh no, I'm still here. That's a different window. Let's see. Thyroid medications. Seems like how to stop T3 and thyroid medications. Man, it's like I have videos on everything, dude. It's amazing. And you guys still ask the same freaking questions. All right, so I think it's only necessary if you have metabolic disorders and you fucked yourself through, overdoing the thyroid medications and not following the instructions which I had in the video, which you can still follow if you came off thyroid medications a while ago and you didn't really recover your thyroid function. You can still get a good advice, right, from that video. It's like the fourth from the top. I'll add the titles in later, guys. But I don't see a reason why people need to be on thyroid medications unless they have a thyroid condition like Hashimoto's disease, for example. Right? So, you would like to see you with the cheerleaders. Yeah. I'm too married for that stuff. I'm too married. I chose right, dude. I have no desire to bang other chicks. Really. I know a lot of guys, they marry early, right? They marry when they're like 25 or something, and then they never get that phase out of their lives where they just have a lot of copious amounts of mindless sex with women you can't remember the name of the day after. Yeah. It sucks, right? So you need to go through that phase of your life, and I think I did that up until I was like 30 years old, and then I met my wife, and so I realized she was this completely different from all the girls that I slept with before that time, or women I had a short-term relationship with, or maybe even a year relationship with. When you finally settle down with that woman that you realize is completely different than all the other girls you ever met in your life or potentially slept with, then it's time to throw in the towel in that phase and just like, okay, chill. And I'm over it. I've done it, been there, done that. Banked all the cheerleaders and the secretaries and what is it called? The airplane hostesses and etc. Right? And the girls who are working at hotels. And not the maids though, but like the girls that work what's it called? Man, what was that girl? What was her fun? Anyway, the girl they work at the desk, right? The intake girls. So when you've gone through all of that, and then you meet the love of your life, and you settle down, and you close the chapter off, and there's no need to fuck additional other girls. Right? I wish more men would think that way, but most men or a lot of men in this planet will just, simp or or get absorbed by that fucking matrix shit and become women haters to the point they can't even settle down anymore. Yeah, too bad. Your loss. Yeah, reception. Right. Yeah, reception girls. Yeah, good times. Yeah, they were very receptive. Ah, good fun memories though. Hey Steve, do you take clients that don't compete in shows? I don't take any clients, dude. I'm done. I'm done coaching. I'm fucking done. I'm done. I did it for 12 years, so almost 15 years, and I'm done. If you want to bring me out of retirement, it's $25,000 per month, 4-month minimum. So that's $100,000 in a single payment through Bitcoin. Thank you very much. Then we can talk. But otherwise, I'm not interested. No, I'm retired. But for $100,000, I will coach you into a show, and it's very likely that you will win because I have no other clients to divert attention to. But will it be worth $100,000? Probably not, unless you're a Bitcoin millionaire. You've got money out of your ass. Yeah, then well, money talks, right? Money talks. All right, let's scroll a little bit. What's wrong with bulking on high protein? Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's inefficient. Because when you have a lot of carbohydrates, it acts protein sparing, right? I mean, you have less gluconeogenesis because there's so many carbs present already. So why bulk on high protein when you can bulk on medium to even low protein, depending on how much calories you get or energy you get from your carbohydrate intake? So let's say you start your bulk at 300 protein, 300 carbs, and 75 fats, for example. Over time, your protein will go up, let's say from 300 to 450 grams, and then to like 600 grams. And then usually when you break the 500 gram mark, you can start lowering your protein intake. And again, this is assuming that you're a big bodybuilder around 100 kilos or more. You can lower your protein intake because the carbs that you take are protein sparing, and you get so many carbs in there that you can simply get away with like 30 grams of protein per meal. All right, especially when you eat 1,000 grams of carbs. At one point, I have these, my big guys back in the past when I was still coaching, maybe 200 grams of protein per day. So and they're like 280 pounds. So so it's that's what, like 0.75 grams per pound of body weight, or 1.25 grams per kilo of body weight. Here, off the top of my head, I'm not sure if that's correct, but it's pretty freaking low because the carbohydrates is so high, and they're just sliming boatloads and boatloads and boatloads of rice and maybe a little bit of quinoa and chia seeds for fiber, and then a little trace amount of chicken, a little trace amount of fish, and a little trace amount of salmon, or beef, but they get freaking huge, right? Because the protein synthesis is obviously upregulated with the anabolic energetic steroids and the growth hormone, the insulin, the IGF-1, and everything else. And the carbohydrate intake is so high that it acts protein sparing, so they can get away with less. But if you want to bulk on high protein, be my guest. You'll probably be more bloated, and digestion will be lowered, and the overall expenses will be way higher than just lowering your protein and eating more carbs that are easy to digest. Can you take psych meds like bupropion and lamotrigine while on cycle? I think so. I mean, I took fluvoxamine while on cycle, but of course that is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And what's bupropion again? Again, and keep in mind that I'm not a expert on it's Wellbutrin, right? So that's a serotonin. Oh, it's a Wellbutrin, right? Okay. What does it do again? Sometimes you can't really find it right away, right? I think. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's also selective. Is it also a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor? Oh, I guess so. I guess so. But it also acts as a norepinephrine dopamine reuptake inhibitor. So it's an SNDRI, right? SNDRI. So I've taken what is it called? That appetite suppressant, not fluvoxamine. Man, I made a video about this. Tirzepatide. Oh, tesofensine. Tesofensine. So I took tesofensine on cycle, and I didn't notice any severe negative effect. It was a little bit stimulatory in the beginning, but that seemed to wear off. Lamotrigine. Lamotrigine? I didn't even know what the fuck that is. Lamotrigine. Anti-seizure, anti-epilepsy drug. I'm not familiar, so I'm gonna throw in the towel and plead a fifth and say I don't know. But bupropion, Wellbutrin, yes, I know many bodybuilders that take Wellbutrin on cycle. So watch that neurotransmitter video. It might do you a world of good. Dropping next week. How's the crypto wallet, coach? Yeah, pretty fucking fat right now. Pretty fat. Yeah, pretty fat. That last move, pretty fat. But let's see what happens. Might be a fake out coming. You know, I felt a little pump this week. Let's see where the cryptocurrency market is at. Depending on what happens over the weekend, the next couple of days, I might be out or put more money in. Where are we? 37,700 with a small bump into 83,400. And I think there's going to be major resistance at this level, maybe up until like 39,000. Yeah. And then past 39,000, yeah, might be major resistance at this point, but it might be a slow mover. So I'm still in for the majority of the time, but let's see what happens, right? If I see like, because we are in overbought territories. When you look at I see that my charts are not here. They're on the other computer. Where, from what I remember, we're kind of in overbought territories on the 1 day chart and the 1 week chart. So there might be a little bit of a retracement, a correction coming. But so far it looks good. I would like to see a retracement to 30,000 though. Yeah. Yeah, a 20% retracement to 30,000 to kind of just solidify, you know, the bull market support band and the Fibonacci, what is it? 0.236. Man, that'd be fucking sweet, dude. Like we're traced, but you know, it's a little bit below the bottom trend, so maybe a 30,000 with a wick, maybe to 28,300. I doubt it. I think 30,000. Let's see where everything converges is on December the 14th. That's the lower support, right, of the current move, and it's the previous 1.618 Fibonacci level compared to the previous bull market. That's at 30,000. And then the 20 moving average and 21 exponential moving average also will probably hit 30,000, assuming that it's going to retrace up until December, let's see, 21st, 21st. Man, it would be good. No? Mid to late January, December, like a fat move downwards. I'm going to go all in at that point. But it might not happen, right? We got to trade the charts and not trade wishful thinking. Vicarian, what is your favorite ancillary currently to raise HDL? Fish oil and citrus bergamot. Every other cholesterol marker is in range except HDL is low. And congrats on 100K. Thank you very much. Yeah, so citrus bergamot and fish oil. And that's pretty much all you can do if you're on cycle. And if you're not on cycle, just eat more fat. That's the only lipid marker, the only marker that improved by going to the US. My HDL came up and my LDL came down, surprisingly. Must have been all that butter that came in my dinner and lunch. Let's see. All right, where are we? Max S. All right. What? You look jaundice. Dude, it's the color correction. Look at my eyes. It's normal. It's white. It's this color. It's just probably the color correction. My liver enzymes will be posted next week when I do the before and after blood work results. But Brandon. So stay tuned. Don't make me ban you. Max S had a super sticker, and here's the question. Congrats on 100K. Steve, looking forward to your entrepreneur nootropic deep dive. Any thoughts or experience with bromantane? Did I ever try that? I don't think I've tried it. I tried Noopept. I didn't get to the bromantane and the Noopept and all this. And Dihex I did try. Did I try bromantane? And I have to get. I'm drawing a fucking blank here. Terrible. I don't think I have. I tried Dihexa. I've tried Noopept. I've tried a couple of racetams, paracetam, and whatever racetam, right? All those variants. I've tried modafinil and a couple, or drafinil for dafinil, or blah, 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 modafinil, right? All these variants I've tried, but bromantane, I don't think so because Cosmic Nootropics doesn't sell it anymore. And that is usually my go-to place. Oh, they also have a Black Friday sale, guys. Bromantane. Oh, they have it. Well. Oh, this is something else. Bromantane. Ladastan. Oh, this product is currently out of stock. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I couldn't get bromantane off Cosmic Nootropics, so I probably haven't tried it. Anyway, they have a Black Friday sale. I think they have 25% off. I'm not sure if my code Vigorous10 will give you 25% off, but they have a coupon code on their website. And I think that their American warehouse is also back up to speed. So Cosmic Nootropic for all your nootropic needs, allegedly. Let's see. So no, let's stay tuned for the deep dive. I haven't tried it myself, but I'll include it in the nootropic, the drug segment of this entrepreneurial deep dive coming soon. Tamagotchi level. Man, I haven't played with a Tamagotchi in a very long time. F in the chat if you know what a Tamagotchi is. Man, I mean, imagine if if those were actually sentient. I mean, how much abuse did Tamagotchi toys undergo? Oh shit! Don't flood the chats with F now. Dildafinil, yeah, that's definitely not the one you want up your ass. You don't want to boof that one. It's too beaucoup. Yeah. Simon Amputee, do you have an experience with lithium orotate? No. Where did I include this? And the happiness on trend. If you're asking about that, I just did research on what could potentially make you happy. Of course, lithium is part of, what was it, Prozac? Or some other antidepressant or mood enhancing medication. And lithium orotate is actually over the counter, but it's better to supplement that under the guidance of a healthcare professional because it can actually be quite strong. So no experience with lithium orotate, but it might make you happy on trend. I've heard some anecdotal reports that lithium orotate kind of mellowed everybody out, and or at least the guys on trend, and yeah. Made them pretty fucking mellow. I think we could get arrested for Tamagotchi abuse. I think it would be sentenced to death for all my abandonment. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, and then after the Tamagotchis, remember that those fake AI robot cats came out that you could pet, and then at one point there were toys with kids giving birth and stuff. babies giving birth to other babies. I mean, it was a fucked up time, dude, the 90s. Holy shit. I'm glad it's over. Brendan, I was going to do a beginner cycle of Anavar. Was thinking about 25 milligrams 3 times a week, but would half of one pill every day be better? I would like consistent intake. I would just start with 5 to 10 milligrams of Anavar and build up as you go, because I mean, how much more can you increase from 25 milligrams? Well, you can get the same results of 5 to 10 milligrams early on, and then up the dose as you need more results. So how about you do 5 milligrams per day for like a month or 2 months, and then 10 milligrams per day for another month or 2 months, and then go to 20 milligrams per day for another month, right? The higher the dose, the shorter the duration, and the more negative effect on your health parameters. But I think you can run 5 milligrams Anavar per day for a year round pretty safely, and even 10 milligrams year round if you have all the health ancillaries in place. And even 20 milligrams of Anavar you can run for a pretty long time, depending on whatever else you're doing. So, yeah, every single day, all pre-workouts or split AM and PM on rest days. But of course, Anavar is going to give an acute response pre-workouts. But if you skip on a rest day, then you miss out on then you miss out on all of the potential anabolic benefits in collagen synthesis, right? So, yeah, I would prefer every day. Let's see, Thomas, 4-gram fish oil, 2,500 milligrams vitamin C, ester C. Good. Good. You've been paying attention. Citrus bergamot, 1 gram per day. Magnesium, 7,500. Up the dose to 1,200 milligrams, 200 milligrams per meal. Magnesium, 10 milligrams. Vitamin E, 400 IUs. Multivitamin, B100 complex, vitamin D3 and K. Running test only. Am I missing something? Well, you're missing the growth hormone and insulin. Duh. Duh. What the fuck? And maybe an aromatase inhibitor. No, but this sounds good, dude. I mean, you got something to lower inflammation in the form of fish oil and vitamin E. You got an antioxidant in there, and something for collagen synthesis in the form of vitamin C. You got something for your lipids in the form of fish oil and citrus bergamot. You got magnesium for skeletal muscle contractions and blood pressure regulation. You got melatonin for antioxidant status in the brain and sleep quality. You got a multivitamin for everything and a B100 complex for all the enzymatic reactions occurring in the body, including neurotransmitter synthesis, mood, and energy regulation. And a vitamin D3 and K for the delivery of electrolytes into bones and skeletal muscle and for overall cardiovascular health. Mix that in with a good diet and maybe a little bit of growth hormone and insulin, and you will be making gains aplenty. Thomas, you will be a freak if you keep this up. I promise you. Yeah, but make sure you keep doing your blood work to see if you need any further adjustments to your health protocol. Obviously. I did the height protocol when I was 16 to 17. Oh, shame on you. How would I go about checking if the lack of estrogen during teen years permanently affected my heart? Well, go to the doctor, tell them what you did, or don't tell them what you did. But it might be difficult to get an MRI done if you don't explain what you did. So do some blood work. See, oh, you probably don't have any acute signs of low estrogen because estrogen is probably already back up to normal levels. Check your lean bone-specific alkaline, bone-specific alkaline, bone-specific alkaline phosphate levels to see if you had some sort of negative effect on your bones long term. Check your CPK levels, your D-dimer levels, your cardiac markers, right? Just as an insurance policy. Go talk with a cardiologist, and then say, listen, I want to check my heart. You do, an electrocardiogram first, then an echocardiogram, an ultrasound of your heart, and then an MRI or CT scan. But probably an MRI is enough. And then you do the adenosine monophosphate intravenous administration to see if the blood flow through your heart is not impaired, if you don't have any weird tissue at certain spots, because again, your estrogen works chronically low. So everybody else that's now currently 16 to 17, take heed. This is one of the reasons why it's not good to do height protocols. And if you want to do it under medical supervision. So at least you have somebody to blame later on when you're in a poor state of health, besides yourself. Right? Thoughts on Geert Wilders winning the election? Is that guy still doing his thing in Holland? He's going to be prime minister? Dude, is that guy going to be prime minister? Fuck, he looks like ass too. Holy fucking shit. Well, guys, watch that video about financial freedom. Let me link it again. All you Dutchies. Blueprint towards financial success. All right, I'm going to link it down below. It's a 2-year plan to get the fuck out of there. Oh, well. Let's see. Oh, here we are. Joseph Good. Steve, my TRT clinic is offering Pharma HCG at 50 micrograms a day. Do you feel that dose is even worth it, or should I not even bother? I'm not sure what the microgram dose, let's see, HCG micrograms to IUs. I'm not sure how much micrograms is, oh, here it is. Easy calculation. Reload. It doesn't work. Omni calculator. Human chorionic gonadotropin. Is that in the list? Yeah, here it is. Okay. So 50 micrograms. Oh, 50 micrograms is 500 IUs. So, oh, that's milligrams. Sorry, wait. You're asking about micrograms, right? Where are we? 50 micrograms a day. So 50 micrograms per day is 0.5 IUs. Is that correct? I don't think that's correct, dude. I think you either mean 50 IUs, but this converter is telling me that 50 micrograms HCG is actually 0.5 international units. And if you meant 50 milligrams, then that's 500 IUs, which I would say is enough. So yeah, contact your pharmacy and tell them you need 250 to 500 IUs HCG 3 times per week, or shut the fuck up. And otherwise, go with a more reputable TRT clinic that actually knows what they're doing. Or just source it online. Just source it online. That's what I do. You think I should leave? This Geert Wilders, man. The biggest fucking racist. This guy just shouts stuff. No. Then again, I can't say that well, I haven't really paid attention to Holland because I haven't lived there for the last couple of years. But I remember the last couple of times of voting, all these guys would, offer the world of solutions, and none of them followed through. So I just left. It's like, how do you do it? See you later, alligator. I'll go pay taxes somewhere else. So whatever they're doing over there, all the best to them, dude. All the best to them. But watch that video about financial freedom, and then go live where you like it better. That's my recommendation. There's a lot better places in the world than Holland, dude. Let's see. Where are we? Where are we? King David, you have given great guidelines for when to start steroids, but would the same guidelines apply for when you are able to start your entrepreneur stack? I mean, I think it's completely different because the guidelines for starting steroids, besides the TRT plus protocol that I mentioned in the entrepreneur stack, that kind of applies for when to start steroids. But there's so much more to the entrepreneur stack that is still coming. So, right, it's not just about going on TRT, which is obviously steroids, but it's also about improving sleep quality and following a particular diet, just putting everything in place for you to make as much money as possible by optimizing every aspect of your life. So that's what the entrepreneur stack is about. That was part 1, and we're going to go a lot deeper, right? Triple inception deep. With neurotransmitters and all these nootropic aids, whether those are medicinal or still some sort of extract, right? I skipped over all of the adaptogens on the part 2 because there's so many of them. So I'll probably have to group them all together in a single video. That's how many fucking adaptogens are out there. So besides ATRT, which I think still applies to the guidelines for when starting steroids, everything else is just related to optimizing everything, putting everything in place for you to be as successful as an entrepreneur as you can. And you can start doing that when you're an entrepreneur or just looking to make more money, right? You don't need to own a business. You can just incorporate some of these things to work a little bit harder and better and make more money at the job that you currently have. And if you have a job that pays bonuses based on performance or commissions, then all the more reasons to incorporate some of the things. It's like a return of investment. You spend maybe $50 to $100 on nootropic aids, and you make it $2,000 because of that, right? Because you're so much more cognitively supercharged. Then it's a no-brainer, right? You still have net $1,900. So this is how you have to look into it. Right? You can incorporate things as you feel ready for them. And just because the options are on the table doesn't mean that you have to take those options for your own personal gain just quite yet. All right. But I will say that being on TRT is very good for entrepreneurship. I would not kill, but I would give life, literally. I would give life to be on fucking TRT again. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm bored of being off cycle. Fucking hell. Dude. Holy shit. I'm so bored of it. 600 nanograms per deciliter, 700 at most, 900 if I fast. Dude, with the amount of work and stress and things that I need to do, I need 1,000. And I'm surprised that HCG is not getting me there, but I would give life literally for 150 milligrams testosterone per week on top of what I'm doing now. But 250 would be infinitely better. Yeah. But I'm 4 years old and, at 100,000 subscribers and a boatload of recurring customers that go back 15 years. Demand is high and the workload is extensive. I mean, it's 2:00 in the morning on Saturday and I'm still highly neurogenic and neurotransmissive to cater to your questions. So when you're working Saturday nights at midnight, get on the entrepreneur stack, the full Monty, I would say. Classified recon. How do you move to a new place? Isn't it a bit scary? It's not scary at all, but you gotta go out there and see the world, right? I mean, the world is bigger than the town you grew up in. So get out or put out. Now, wait a minute. Put out or put out or get out. Just do traveling is the best thing you can do for your life. Really. Traveling, seeing the world. You'll see that most people are exactly the same, and it's just the news that kind of differentiates us. So go through Southeast Asia, go to some Arab countries, go to some African countries if you can, go to North America, South America, right? I mean, there's still so many places that I want to visit, but travel the world, you see that everybody's the same, and you have a different perspective on how people are that haven't traveled, right? People that don't travel are very narrow-minded compared to the people who have. It's that simple, right? They haven't seen the world. They've seen everything through the lens of YouTube, which of course is, manipulated. But until you get out there and actually see the world for yourself, you haven't lived, honestly. And it doesn't matter how much money you make, and it doesn't matter how many cars you buy. You haven't seen anything of this planet unless you have traveled properly. So when you've traveled properly, moving to another place is easy as cake. Right, easy as cake. Let's see. Oh, some super chats are flooding in. Jared Friesen, about to start using growth hormone for the first time at 6 to 8 IUs a day on 600 to 750 milligrams testosterone, 600 to 750 milligrams Primo cycle. I'm on a strict ketogenic diet. Will growth hormone perform differently from me being on a ketogenic diet? No, it will not. No, it will not. Growth hormone will act as growth hormone does, but it's better to have a little bit of carbohydrates around the workout to help with metabolism. And with that much growth hormone, you need a little bit of T4, thyroxine, in your a protocol, because obviously growth hormone is going to speed up thyroid conversion, even in the absence of carbohydrates. But if you have a little bit of carbohydrates intra-workout or post-workout, then thyroid conversion will be, upregulated to a certain extent for the next 24 hours. So if you train multiple times a week, then of course metabolism will be somewhat sustained. If you have carbs post-workout, this is why I take, let's say, 50 to 70 grams of carbs from fruit, from watermelon, blueberries, and pineapple. That seems to digest very, very well. And fill me out right away. So I would not start at 6 to 8 IUs though. So if you're doing 600 milligrams of test, 600 milligrams of Primo, add in the T4, 100 micrograms in the morning, start with 2 IUs growth hormone, and then every 2 to 3 weeks, you add in another 2 IUs growth hormone, so your body can slowly get used to this increased water retention, the renin-angiotensin aldosterone modulation. All right, so you slowly build your growth hormone dose up. If you start with 8 IUs now, you can't close your hands. Really. You will not be able to close your hands. Plus, what is that? I think I linked, watch one of the videos that I linked down below about the pumps, because carpal tunnel, you can mitigate with electrolyte balance and taurine as well. And again, you get terrible carpal tunnel if you go straight to 8 IUs, but if you go from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 IUs with 2 week to 4 week increments, it's very unlikely that you get terrible carpal tunnel compared to the carpal tunnel you would get if you go straight to 8 IUs, right? I accidentally injected the full 8 IUs, and now I can't even masturbate anymore because my arms are numb, right? And then you're like Connor Murphy. Like you wake up and you're like this. You can't feel your hands. Yeah, like that. So, no, not Conor Murphy, Conor McGregor. Jesus Christ. Conor McGregor. Hey, Conor McGregor like this. I think Conor Murphy was also something similar like that, but he cleaned up his act quite a bit. All right, where are we? What is this? Yeah, I got that super sticker already. Thanks for reminding me. How much time did it took for you to become so knowledgeable? So I started becoming interested in bodybuilding or fitness when I was 15. So now I'm 40. So that's 25 years. Yeah, 25 years. And I always try to learn more, right? I never really took breaks besides that 1 year break when I traveled through Southeast Asia and Greater Asia, right, to China and Mongolia, etc. So let's say I've been studying for 22 years, 23 years on this subject, and there's still plenty much more to learn, and everything is always evolving. So I'm really looking forward to starting this membership site and going monk mode and really re-diving into the anabolic energetic steroids, because well, you guys know me, I'm thorough as fuck, and I'm sure I'm going to find out some things that is going to shake conceptual thinking, and that will all be presented in video format, with chapters and references, etc., etc., etc. So I'll be super in depth. Plus, the added benefit of me is that you get 12 years of actual coaching experience on top of that, and somebody with an actual degree that knows how to interpret scientific evidence. Because too many the false prophets in our sports that think that they know, but they haven't even been to school, for anything substantial. So yeah, just let them be electricians. Right? I wouldn't even ask them to change my light bulbs over here. Yeah. Anyway, so don't worry. My membership section will put all other membership sections to shame. I will promise you that. Yeah. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. Hey, Steve, in your last video, you mentioned you would link a YouTube podcast channel. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm still going to do that, because I will segregate the clips for sure, because dude, YouTube Shorts just kill the algorithm. So but they're still being made for Instagram and YouTube, and on Instagram they do very, very well. I mean, look at all the shorts and reels that I posted with Nile Niga. I mean, they got man, how many views per here? Nile Niga, the last couple of ones, 22, 24, 96, 75, 177, 82,000 views per short. So on Instagram, it definitely pays off. I think I gained like 5,000 followers the last couple of weeks. Doing podcast collaborations with Nell Nyga and Mark Bell and even Chase Irons. I got 40,000 views. Right. So, Dave Tate, but they didn't produce really any shorts of our podcast collaboration. So, on Instagram, I've grown a lot. Yeah, more than on YouTube, which I would expect otherwise. So, I will separate the clips channel, but I probably need to hire somebody for that because I really don't want to do too much, medial tasks. I just want to focus on the membership side. So, at one point, I'll hire somebody to move all of the clips or all of the shorts and reels to the clips channel, and then maybe make some thumbnails for each of them and start clipping and chopping up the Vigorous Q&As, which I always record on the camera for high quality, and that will funnel new people into the Vigorous Steve YouTube channel. So you catch them, and then if they want, they can funnel over. But I don't want these shorts to fuck with the algorithm on this channel anymore because I think it's really stunting my growth. But long form content like a podcast, I think that still does well. So I haven't really decided yet if I want to start a podcast channel. But the clips, I'm not, or the shorts and the reels, I'm not gonna do here anymore. It just ruins the fucking algo, and it pisses me off. And I've worked so hard to grow this channel. And then you think YouTube offers a new solution for growth, and then it limits your growth. So thank you very much. Yeah, you just make some shorts, grow your audience. All these audience are not interested in long form content. So keep them on the Clips channel. I mean, how many people are subscribed to the Clips channel now? I can't see it out here. Maybe I can search for it. Vigorous clips, hair extensions. 700 subscribers. I mean, that's abysmal. All right, so do me a favor, subscribe to the Clips channel to get 1,000 subscribers so you can monetize that as well. And then I'll post a couple of videos, and but I'll probably hire somebody to do that. Yeah, I just want to focus on the membership section. All right, there's so much stuff to do, but I got to be selective because there's so many hours in the day. Let's see. What did you study in university and which uni? So I studied at the University of Amsterdam at knowledge engineering, and it's basically an aggregation at the time. So this is we're talking about like over 20 years ago. So it basically takes like a financial aspect of the business and the people relation, the people management of the business, and the supply chain and the workflow side of the business, and then the IT side of the business, and puts all of that together so you can basically interpret what management wants and what the not executive level, but the performing level of the business needs to do. So it's very good for managing, basically driving the business forward. So that's what I studied in. So there was a lot of, collecting data, I would say. So this is probably why I'm so good at collecting data from a multitude of different sources, because this is what I was trained in. So I can identify data from humans. I can identify data from scientific evidence. I can identify data from, computer programs, obviously, put that all together and then make that understandable for management who isn't really specialized in anything, but has superficial understanding of all of the divisions of the business. And this is why I think I'm so good at what I'm doing right now, because we're taking from the scientific literature, we're taking from anecdotal experience, we're taking from my personal experience coaching a lot of athletes and having 25 years experience in my own body. We take from basic human biology and we extrapolate into better practices, safer practices regarding the use of performance-enhancing drugs, right? Multitude of different sources put together, and over time, we slowly come to a higher truth. But as scientific literature kind of expands and new drugs come to the forefront, practices are obviously going to change, right? So people fantasizing about tren. I mean, there hasn't been a new study performed on tren from a medical perspective for decades, right? Tim Pieczkowski is very good at looking at the psychological effects of trenbolone, right? He posts studies quite regularly. Right? What is it? My brain pretty much turned to mush. That was a great study. I laughed my ass off, but that's not really any form of biology. So, you know, it's yeah. That's basically where I stem from, and then I slowly transitioned into financial business consulting because that's what I'm very, very interested in. Let's see, where are we? Oh, you guys are chatting amongst each other. All right, let me just kick back and relax. Oh, I cracked my back, man. I'm so sore. I'm so sore. The first week that I came back to Thailand, I barely trained. I was just broken from my holiday. And then this week I trained pretty hard, trying to get my shape back. Man, these delts are like, look at this. It's just flat. Fuck me, dude. So yeah, I'm slowly fighting my way back into the gym and kicking ass. Yeah, so hopefully everything will fall back into place soon. Yeah, when I'm back at my previous condition, I think another month of dieting to get all the fat from USA off, and then I'm gonna slowly start increasing my calories because I've been trying to stay lean for far too long, and I'm starting to get pretty flat now. All right, well, I guess you guys are talking in between each other. Let's just answer some other questions earlier on. Mm-mm-mm. Here we are. YouTube Chill Zone. Hello. How long did it take for your natural production to return when you traveled and were clean for a year? I currently 5 months after stopping everything after 6 months, and that's why I'm asking. So I think I did a PCT. So I did my first cycle, right? Then I did a PCT. I did my blood work, and I was like 650 nanograms per deciliter a couple weeks after doing Nolvadex and Clomid. So I think my natural production was high when I started traveling, but mid travel I was like 400 nanograms per deciliter, and I think when I came back I was about 300. Right? Because I think if I remember correctly, unfortunately my blood work from that time that's all back in Holland, and I couldn't find it the last time I was in Holland because it's all printed out on paper without reference ranges, so it's just numbers. Right, so you have like numbers, no concentrations. This is again one of the reasons why I didn't want to live in Holland anymore. You go do blood work, you're only allowed one blood work per year. You're not able to pay out of pocket. You basically have to play the victim and pretend that you have all kinds of ailments just to get the blood work prescribed. And even then, it's very hard to get all of the markers that you want prescribed. So fuck that shit. Fuck basic healthcare in Holland. I'd rather work hard and pay that shit out of pocket in another country, and stimulate the economy there, because clearly they didn't want my business over there in Holland. So I did my blood work before I left. I did my blood work when I came back. I think I went down from 650 down to like 350 nanograms per deciliter, if I remember correctly. And along the line, somewhere 6 months into the trip, I did my blood work at St. Louis Hospital here in Thailand, where I was about four something. Um, but it's all printed out. And I think I lost that blood work when I was traveling, and I can't find the blood work which I have in print that goes back years, right? I asked my mom to look for it. I looked for it when I came back to Holland. I just don't know where the fuck it is. All I remember is that there were no concentrations, just numbers. So, you know, what can you do? So I came back quite well. Then when I did came completely off, no fertility aids, I was about 450 to 600 nanograms per deciliter, depending on when I measured it. And now I'm 600 to 700 nanograms per deciliter with the HCG. So that's pretty similar to the LH and FSH secretion I had back in the day, but my fertility parameters are like twice as good. So I'm going to stay on LH and FSH because I simply don't want to undergo the Nolvadex and Clomid treatment because of clotting risk and feeling absolutely terrible on Clomid for 4 weeks to 6 weeks. I can't afford it. Yeah, I just can't afford it mentally. Really, it's that simple. Uh, 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 here we go. Oh no, I already answered that. Hey, Steve, thoughts on IGF-1R3 and MK677? All right, nice one. High user from channel. Fucking MK677 questions. Beat it. Beat it. Where's your shirts from, Steve? So this one I bought in a hurry in Padia. I'll give you the let's see, maps. It's like $8 or something. Padia. Let me scroll down. I'll give you the location. It's like some supply store for hotel amenities. Can't remember what it's called, so I have to look at the map. Is it this road or that road? Mall. Well, I don't think I'll be able to find it. Oh, no, wait a minute. Groceries. Friendship supply, right? Is that the one? Okay, then I gotta go this way. Hey. Where's soy bocao? Is it this one? Yeah, and it should be somewhere here. Is this it? Hotel. I can't find it, dude. I think it's next to Compadia. It's like right behind it. But it's just giving me hotels. Let me just drop the pin here. Whatever, you wouldn't be able to buy it anyway. So anyway, I just bought it at some supply store in a hurry because I wanted to look like the Big Lebowski, and now everybody thinks that I'm a Jedi. So mission failed. How do you stay motivated to do entrepreneurial work when coming off cycle? Well, I mean, I like making money, obviously, so that is highly motivating. Spending money is a different story, though. I don't really spend money; I just make money and invest. Cursed, cursed. Even though I did spend a lot of money going to the United States, it was no joke. Yeah, but then again, that's fine. So I don't know. I mean, it's just always been self-motivating. And again, since I'm on top of my health, I still go to the gym. I on top of my neurotransmitters, right? And then once in a while, you feel lack of motivation, and you take a Gorilla Mind Respawn or a Gorilla Mind energy drink, or an extra dose of L-tyrosine and L-tryptophan and uridine monophosphate. Right? I mean, you just fucking get it done and shut the fuck up. I mean, there's worse thing in life than making money. I mean, I think making money is great. I think it's absolutely great. It buys you freedom, it buys you relaxation, it buys you things to do, it buys you a little bit more luxurious situations, and so I'm in a position where I don't have to think about money, but it's because of my motivation to do entrepreneurial work, whether I'm off cycle or on cycle. Right? I still go to the gym, whether I'm off cycle or on cycle. I still fuck my wife, whether I'm off cycle or on cycle. Right? So just because you're off cycle doesn't mean you get to cuddle up in a ball and in the corner of the room and start crying like a little bitch. No, you're still a man, and if your testosterone levels are in the middle of the reference range, you shouldn't complain. Is it better to be super physiological? 100%. I miss being on TRT. I'll be the first one to admit it. But it's not like I'm a miserable piece of shit right now. It just, I remember what it feels like to be on TRT and how much better I felt compared to now. It doesn't mean that I feel bad. It just feels that I feel less compared to before and what I could potentially feel like in the future after I give life. So, I would say that my overall capacity is like 80% regarding training, regarding entrepreneurial work, and regarding libido, which is probably 100% for regular individuals, or maybe 200% for regular individuals that don't pay attention to their nutrition and have invested so much time into their physique regarding supplementation and training and trying to be, super duper healthy. So I'm probably twice ahead compared to other 40-year-olds, which I mean, comparing me to other 40-year-olds, I mean, it's night and day. Compared to GenPop 40-year-olds, I mean, I'm, I'm way beyond that shit, right? But compared to, somebody who's on TRT at 40 years old and doing the exact same things that I'm doing plus TRT, I'm at about 80%, I would say. Yeah. So, but 80% is still pretty fucking good when most people are like 20% of their potential, or even less than that. I mean, there's so much procrastination and slacking and laziness in this world. It's honestly despicable. I think this planet would be a lot better if people would follow my entrepreneurial deep dive. Yeah, and just optimize their neurotransmitters and be a little bit more positive. Yeah, even though I'm rambling now. So let's move on. When do you take your blood pressure at home? Do you stand, sit, lay down, do position 96? Also, do you also use a wrist cuff or arm cuff? So I can't use the arm cuff. Well, geez, then kind of small now, right? Maybe I can use the arm cuff after all. Oh my God. I might have to edit that out. Is there still something left? Jeez, it doesn't look good, huh? I gotta eat, dude. Well, Cheesecake Factory is opening in 2 weeks, so I might restore a little bit of body fat and fullness. It's the end of the week, guys. I've been training hard and dieting. All right, trying to get lean, so be gentle. But when I do take my blood pressure, sit down for 5 minutes, kind of relax. I got that Omron 7 and put it here on my wrist with about an inch to spare. I put that at the height of my heart, so that's this high. Right, that's the height of my heart. And then I just chill there for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I press start, and I wait, and I'm about 125, 120, 125 over like 60, 65, and then I'll do it on the other side. And on the right side, I'm usually 125 to 130 and 65 to 75. So it's a little bit higher on the right side compared to the left side. But I do feel that the Omron 7 is pretty accurate because I brought it with me to the clinic many, many times. And there I have a full arm cuff, right? I check at both sides. And then I do the Omron 7, just all sitting from the same position, not moving around, to just de-stressing and relaxing, getting my heart rate down to like 45 to 55 beats per minute. I had bradycardia because I'm, somewhat of an athlete, and I can actually manipulate my heart rate through, well, I guess, swimming so much back in the day. So I feel that those Omron 7s are pretty similar to the arm cuffs that you would have at the hospital. But they're, not identical. So I just take the average, and based on the average over longitudinal data over the last couple of years, my blood pressure is pretty good. Yeah. Pretty freaking good. You're like, you remember, like, Steve's getting smaller. Hop on TRT dose, my man. Yeah, this is how bodybuilders die. Bro, you look small. You need to be on Superdrol. And then they hop on Superdrol, and then, yeah. But the at one point I will be on the TRT gain again. Got this IG girl in Thailand. She's lovely. I need to go there someday. Okay, share the IG account and let me tell you if this is worth traveling to Thailand for. DK, I've been here 17 years. I'll let you know. Share the IG account or DM it to me on Instagram if you don't want to make it public. I'll be waiting. Yeah, I'll let you know. Hey Steve, my dude. That's the real dude right there. Look at that. Actually, at Las Vegas, when it was Halloween, we went to. Like, I wish I filmed it, but I was a little bit intoxicated. I went to, Old Town. What is it? Not Old Town. Was it Old Town? Downtown, Fremont Street, and there was somebody dressed up as a dude. Fucking epic. Could have taken a picture. Yeah. All right. So, what do you think about glutamine? Yeah, I do recommend it. It's good for intestinal health and the stomach lining. So, of course, taking steroids and eating copious amounts of food is probably not the best for your stomach lining, and modulates or negatively your stomach acid production to the point you get acid reflux, and thus your stomach lining might get impaired. And taking some apple cider vinegar with meals and supplementing with 10 to 20 grams of glutamine will help with your intestinal health and stomach lining and prevent you from getting stomach ulcers. And glutamine is a building block for glutamate, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter and the most abundant neurotransmitter that you have, which they can then convert into GABA through the decarboxylase. Was it the decarboxylase? I have it here in my notes. Man, I should know this. I recorded today. Glutamate. Steve. Decarboxylase enzymes. Glutamate decarboxylase enzymes. Yeah. Metabolize glutamate into gamma aminobutyric acid. All right. Yeah, so I do recommend glutamine supplementation. Yeah. Good all around. Will it put more muscle on you? Probably not, but it's still good for your intestinal health. All right, DK, send me that Instagram. Oh, here we go. I know. Don't have it yet. Come on, man. Don't let me down. I want to see it now. I want to see it now. I'm interested. Let's see who you're talking about. Let's see. Kid, it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes already. Holy moly. Holy moly. And I haven't had a super chat in like, oh, here we go. In 20 minutes. Guys, what's going on? Economy must be bad, huh? Economy must be bad. Let's see. Content Lounge. I had some Mildronate, wondering if it's a good idea to take it during a cut for a couple weeks. If I keep the carbs low, and can it hinder the fat loss? Thank you, my man. No, you can't take Mildronate during a cut because it inhibits triglyceride absorption by inhibiting carnitine synthesis. So Mildronate is purely for improving endurance when carbohydrate intake is high and fat intake is low, and you don't care about fat loss. And so if you want to use something for fat loss, use tirzepatide, liraglutide, dulaglutide, retatrutide, liraglutide, ephedrine, clenbuterol, 5-amino-1-MQ, ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin stacks, etc. But Mildronate is very low on the list of fat-burning aids. Content Lounge. Please watch the Optimized Endurance Deep Dive video series again, where I explain everything in depth. Nice. First time seeing you live. All right, good. Welcome to the Vigorous Q&A live. I hope you have a question. The questions are slowing down. I guess we're done, guys. I guess we are done. Oh, Dirk. Okay. DK sent the Instagram account. Okay, accept. Let's see. Oh, why can't I click it, dude? Oh, it's clicking. Okay. Ah, that one. Okay, so yeah, she's in Pattaya. She's had 2 kids, and she may or may not have been on Walking Street for a couple of years. So even though this does sound appealing on Instagram, keep in mind this girl is like yay high. which can be sexy in a certain extent. But all the tattoos are dead giveaway that she used to dabble in walking street. The lip fillers and the silicone and the potential butt implants are also an indication that she might have some I don't know, some history. And if you want to really identify the girls that have kids or not, all you have to do is look at their lower abs. If there's a big fat tattoo on it, it's probably to hide a little bit of the loose skin. And let's see, the loose skin and the cesarean, because a lot of the Thai girls, they do cesareans here because they want to keep their pussies intact for money making opportunities, obviously, because a tight pussy is a money making pussy. So they do a cesarean and then they put a tattoo over it so it hides the scars. All right. So this one, no. Plus, it's a girl from Pattaya, so double no. All girls in Pattaya are just nutcases. Yeah. But if you want to hit it one time, right ahead, dude. Just hit it and quit it. Hit it and quit it. But with our Instagram following of 130,000 followers, let's check the link tree. There's an OnlyFans there. Yeah, so don't simp on the OnlyFans, dude. Just come to Pattaya. You'll meet a boatload of girls like this. And, maybe buy them a drink and take it from there. Right? So, where are we? So yeah, kudos on you for sending it, but hit it once, hit it and quit it. But don't fall in love, DK. Don't fucking do it, dude. Don't do it. All right, where were we on super chats? Okay, I think this is the latest one. How to prevent low testosterone and SSRIs while natty? I haven't researched that, to be honest, but maybe some of the over-the-counter supplements that I mentioned in the how to improve your testosterone levels might help, but I haven't looked into the interaction with SSRIs or other medications like nebivolol or beta blockers, which are known to reduce testosterone levels as well. So I'll link it here. It's the 6 from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 from the top. And give that one a watch. You might get some ideas. But I haven't really looked into SSRIs regarding testosterone. This is why I only mention SSRIs in the context of being on cycle, because I don't know how much of a negative effect they have on testosterone levels. But I do know that they can severely diminish one's libido. Face velocity, high red blood cell count with low ferritin. Any recommendations? 80 milligrams testosterone replacement therapy. How is your hematocrit, a mean corpulus volume, mean corpulus hemoglobin concentration? Because if that's all normal, low ferritin is fine. I look into your serum iron levels. But if you have low ferritin and skewed MVC, if you have skewed MCV, MCH, and MCHC levels, and your red cell distribution width is off, RDW, then it's very likely that you're being vitamin B9 and B12 deficient or iron deficient or all of the above, right? So look into the total picture. It could be that you have high red blood cells because the hemoglobin content of the red blood cells is low because you lack B vitamins and iron. So you have less hemoglobin within the red blood cells, and thus red blood cell production goes up to compensate for the lack of oxygen carrying capacity because there's less hemoglobin which carries the oxygen otherwise within each red blood cell. So RBC might be high, but hematocrit might be low because the RBC is low. Red cell distribution width is skewed, let's say 14, 17%, somewhere along those lines, over the general range. And then you see that mean corpulus hemoglobin concentration is all over the place as well. So look into the total picture and then maybe start supplementing with a B100 complex and maybe start supplementing with iron or adding more beef to your diet. And again, if your hematocrit is high, and your red blood cell is high, and you might have sleep apnea, or you might have polycythemia, or something else going on. So with these two values, I can't really give you solid advice. Just a couple options you can look into. Steve knows them all. Yeah, dude. I mean, these girls are everywhere, man. Yeah. Steve, the master of knowledge, steroids and hookers. Dude, after 17 years, I know all the big players. All right. You think low dose statin inhibits muscle growth? Yes. Yeah, I do think so. Yeah. That's why I mentioned to Chase Irons that he should just take the statin out because his lipids were actually quite good for the amount of steroids he was on. And he was also on ezetimibe and healthy eating and fish oil and stuff. So, but he's still on a statin. And I think he feels comfortable there. And again, it's his body, his choice. But I do think that statins inhibit muscle growth because you need a little bit of cholesterol synthesis for cell membrane insulation and cell functioning, because in the cell membrane there's a lot of triglycerides and cholesterol to help with signaling and insulation and that kind of stuff. So inhibiting that just makes your cells not function correctly, and it might make you sore, albeit that rosuvastatin doesn't really have that effect. Yeah, so I would think statins are a last resort. Yeah. But again, if your lipids are unmanageable, then you might have to sacrifice a little bit of muscle growth to keep your lipids in range. Because again, you can't grow muscle if you're dead and you have a boatload of plaque buildup, right? So, yeah. All right. Awesome. DK. Cool. So when you come here, you know what is the best thing to do? Like, you go to the Muscle Factory Instagram page, Muscle Factory Padia. Let me link it. Muscle Factory Padia. Instagram. Here we go. And then you go to tagged. Fuck, it's only dudes. No, maybe not tagged. Okay, that's only dudes. Okay. You search for Muscle Factory Padia. Muscle Factory Padia. And then you go to the location. Why is my Instagram so slow, dude? All right, this is the one. Okay. I'll link it down below. This is so inappropriate, dude. But it's late. All right, I'll link it down below. Instagram/explore locations, random number, Muscle Factory Padia. And then you start scrolling, and then you see a boatload of girls that train at the Muscle Factory Padia. So you can start prospecting to see if it's worth going to Padia or not. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of tattooed up girls that patrol Walking Street. This is why I don't live in Padia. Yeah, so you just start patrolling there, start prospecting, and then if you see enough girls that you like, then maybe it's worth the trip, you know? And otherwise, you go to the Illusion, or was it Insomnia? Insomnia Club? Insomnia Club Padia, right? All right, here we go. Any party pictures? No, this is promotional material. This might be good. Okay, so here's what you do. You go to the Muscle Factory Padia page, and then you go to the Insomnia Padia Club Insomnia Padia page on Instagram, and then you'll see a lot of overlap. You see so much overlap. So the going rate for freelancers is about 2,000 to 5,000 baht. Some of them are 8,000 baht nowadays. So that's a pretty fucking expensive price. So the let's see, the starter pack for that, and we're gonna close it off here, guys. No more super chats. We're gonna close it off. No more super chats. All right. Anything that I need to answer? All right, I will answer two more. So the freelancer starter pack is as follows, right? Lip filler, tattoos, especially in the lower abs, some silicone, obviously, Let's see, what else are they wearing nowadays? Some clothes that are a little bit too short for comfort, but don't necessarily look expensive, because most of these girls just get their clothes on the market. Man, there's some crazy clothes over there. Fuck, I haven't been into Illusion in like a decade. Or Insomnia, right? Illusion is in Bangkok. Let's see. Yeah, and then maybe some cigarettes and some bad makeup, and then of course all the pictures they use overlighting, so these girls might be a little bit more tanned than they appear to be over here at Club Insomnia. And then the best thing you can do is just go around making the rounds with your Coke Zero, and then if girls are interested in you, just ask them if they're working or not. That's it. Are you working tonight, or are you just going out having fun? If they play dumb and say, "What the hell's going on?" You just say, "Listen, I don't pay, so if you're working, you're better off, looking for a customer." And just keep it chill. You don't have to say that direct, but say, "Listen, look at me. I'm in shape. I look good. I'm financially secure, right? I take care of myself. I don't pay, right? You can still go with me, but I'm not going to pay. So if you're working, if you're looking to make money tonight, look somewhere else." And that usually works, to at least, filter out all the freelancers. But most of the freelancers that work at, Walking Street, you can find them during the day at the Muscle Factory patio. And there's nothing wrong with that. But of course, freelancers will cost you money. And the regular girls that you need to put some effort into will not. But then again, the threshold of putting in effort in patty is quite low. I will tell you that. You can probably get laid in like 20 minutes after you arrive. So without paying for it. It's patty after all, dude. All right. Super chats. R&R, Rest and Relaxation, asks LDL about 95 at 450 milligrams testosterone per week and 450 milligrams EQ. Statin worth it? Dude, your LDL is fine. What are you talking about? Take some fish oil and citrus bergamot and shut the fuck up. Your LDL is fine. You don't need a statin at all. Already take ezetimibe and citrus bergamot. Okay, add some fish oil and be done with it. Yeah, add some fish oil. All right. Does high dose pregnenolone sulfate and DHA sulfate on TRT mean? Without HCG usage, both were slightly over reference range. Okay, so it could be that the steroid sulfatase, I fucked it up last week again. So, steroid, there's two of them. One is from sulfate, or to sulfate, sulfatase. So steroid sulfatase makes sulfate. What was the other one? And I keep mixing these up. That's why I need to get back to steroid content. So I just remember all this shit. That I've been completely overwhelmed and indoctrinated with nootropic content. And there's only so much memory capacity I have. I need an upgrade, guy. I need some like DDR6 memory installed. Steroid sulfatase. Okay, so steroid sulfatase is converting DHA sulfate into DHA. So there might be something going wrong with steroid sulfatase levels, where your DHA sulfate levels and pregnenolone sulfate levels, which can be directly produced in the adrenal glands, are high, but the metabolism into free pregnenolone and free DHEA is not properly occurring. Could be a nicotinamide mononucleotide or NAD plus deficiency, or it could just mean that everything is high, right? It could be that pregnenolone levels are high and DHA levels are high and the sulfated versions are high, because your adrenal glands are still producing adequate amounts of neurosteroids, which can happen if you're young or in unique individuals with just a lot of adrenal function, even on TRT. So, assuming that's what you mean, yeah, you're on TRT, right? So, maybe check your free DHA and free pregnenolone levels, or check your progesterone levels, which of course metabolize from pregnenolone. So I would say that if your DHA levels are low and progesterone levels are low, that it's very likely that you don't get enough steroid sulfatase activity for pregnenolone sulfate and DHA sulfate to metabolize into its free forms. All right. Let's cut it off here. Fuck Simon, dude. This is the last one. Thoughts on managing risk factors as an individual running moderate levels of gear with elevated lipoprotein A. I don't think there's ways to reduce your little lipoprotein little A. I think only ezetimibe and testosterone actually lower that. But I can't remember off the top of my head what else does that. I mean, it seems to be predominantly related to genetic conditions. What I will say is that I read an article not too long ago. Yeah, exactly. Iron Grid, no more super chats. People don't listen to. So we're still going to answer it because, another $5, right? I mean, $5 shakes. Hell yeah. So I read an article not too long ago about lipoprotein little A contributing to plaque buildup with oxidative stress in the arteries is high. And when there's not enough vitamin C to bind up the collagen, because, of course, when collagen transports through the bloodstream, it's attached to vitamin C. Vitamin C is a collagen donor. And then if vitamin C is not present, collagen in combination with lipoprotein little A can actually form plaque just the same as LDL foam cells or in combination with LDL foam cells. So that is where I would look into. But I think besides ezetimibe and testosterone, there's nothing that really lowers lipoprotein little A. It seems to be predominantly related to genetics. All right, this is super sticker, Logan, so it's all good. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. 2.5 hours, job done. So that's 2 hours of recording this morning, 2 hours of consultations, 1 hour of muscle nomads, which will drop Monday, and then 2.5 hours of the Vigorous Q&A. So if I seem incoherent at this point in time, sincere apologies. I've been talking for days, right? Or the entire day, at least. Okay, so let's wrap it up here. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you again next week at the Vigorous Q&A. Hopefully you guys can join for the private Q&A for members only. But I'm happy with 125 to 150 active viewers today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed your holiday, Thanksgiving. And don't forget the Black Friday sales, right? Over at Gorilla Mind, 30% off with code Vigorous. 7 new products that they dropped. I mean, you can save yourself a fuckload of money on Gorilla Mode Respawn, Intergesterone, and Ecdysterone if you were on the fence on giving those a try, if you're currently drug-free or you want to raise your SHBG levels marginally. Look into the Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode, 30% off Black Friday sales. It will continue until Monday, so you have some time to order your products. And they got some cool shirts from Derek. He finally made some merchandise after like 500 years on YouTube and being absent for the last year. Finally made some merchandise in the form of that, allegedly sauna controlling device. But I know it's something else, but I'm not allowed to say. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video, Vigorous Q&A dropping next